So you transmigrate back to ancient times. And yeah, you buy some little girls from traffickers. The younger, the better, right?
Like their livestock.
Yeah, people secretly call you a creep.
Who is that
but they don't
man
know the
anyway?
real deal. See, if you got this system that gives you cash for having kids, 10 yuan a day, baby. Rice is cheap, like $2 a caddy. So you flip that rice for 100 copper coins a day, saving up for a decent place. We're waiting for these 3 girls to pass this observation period so you can snag an extra 40 yuan daily subsidy. Big money.
Look up.
And get this, you renamed them
on,
Lin Beihai,
you are
Lin
my
Ruyan,
family.
and Lin Si.
Your
You
names are
refamily
Lin
now, you
Beihai.
tell them. Then you see the porridge situation. Beihai, how many times do I gotta say it? Stop shorting yourselves. We got the cash for more porridge. Master, this porridge is already great, she said. You just sigh. You know their past was rough, so even thin porridge feels like a feast.
Please.
After Cho, you
take
grab that
this.
rice bag you've been saving. Hand over 10 caddies to
Thank
Beihai.
you so much.
Take this to Boss Zo, get cash, grab some veggies. How much have we saved up, anyway? 346 coins from 300 of that. Beihai doesn't argue, just brings a box with 2 tiny pieces of silver. She hands him over, plus another 100 copper coins. You head to the brokers, and this shopkeeper Chen is all smiles. Master Lin! Perfect timing. Got some prime goods for you today. Show me, you say. A woman brings in a super young looking kid, and then bam. The system hits you up Beihai past her observation period. That's an extra 10 yuan a day. Sweet. Life just got easier. But your sudden grin. Shopkeeper Chen thinks you, re-eyeing the new girl. He ups the price. Master, look at this one, so fresh. Add a little extra, yeah. The 8-year-old girl sees you grinning like a maniac, and she freaks. Hides behind her mom. Tears start flowing. Mom, please don't sell Daya. I'll be good. I'll help my brother. I'll buy dad meat. Please don't sell me. So the mom hears this, and she's just breaking down, tears everywhere. Shopkeeper Chen, smooth talker, asks our guy, so, Master Lin, what do you think of this little one? You look at the mom and daughter, feeling a little something, and just kinda nod. Hit me up later if you find someone decent. Re about to peace out, but the mom, she grabs your pants like her life depends on it, begging, Master, I will sell. And then, she just collapses, completely spent. Your face is all complicated, but you decide, yeah, you rebuying her. 'Cause you can tell, this mama wouldn't do that unless it was life or death for everyone. So you flip 2 silver pieces on the counter. Boom. Shopkeeper Chen ain't arguing, rushes to get the contract signed and sealed. Mom and daughter are just a mess, hugging and crying, while Chen's rushing through everything. He hands the mom 140 copper coins, making a clean 60 for himself. Nice. Watching them cry is making you uneasy, so you cut in, got stuff to do. Time to roll out. I will give you my address. You can visit your daughter anytime, no hard feelings. Mom, you can come over. The mom's shaking her head like crazy. Master. This old woman knows the score, won't be a bother. You re a good dude. Just treat my girl right, okay? If I come back in another life, I will be your servant. Don't you worry, she will be living better with me than she ever did with you. You turn to the kid, your name's Lidea, right? Lame. From now on, you re-Lin Miaoyan. Let's go, you re-coming home with me. You get Miaoyan home, and walking into the courtyard, you see the other 3 girls, heads down, digging in the dirt. Faces caked in mud, probably thinking they can grow veggies and save up some cash. You just sigh. What happened to your faces? I told you guys to chill. We're not gonna be here forever anyway. It's fine, master. We got nothing else going on. What if we actually grow something we can eat? Hearing that, you just shake your head. Good girls, rough lives, man. Then Beihai spots the new kid. Master, who's this little one? Just bought her, she's Lin Miaoyan now. Your new little sister, so look after her. Beihai, go make her something to eat. Ruin Ca, quit messing with the dirt. Go boil water, get Miaoyan cleaned up. She stinks. Yes, master. The 3 girls jump up, happy to help. This actually calms Miaoyan down, who's been crying. Seeing other girls her age so upbeat, she figures her future might not be so bad. Hey, who here can actually sue? We all can. 2. Got it. Alright, get to it. I'm heading out again. And with that you bounce. An hour later, you re-back with a cloth bundle. You see Miaoyan's already been bathed by her older sisters, dressed in clean clothes, and is slurping down some porridge. You give a satisfied nod. Then you call all the kids over. Alright everyone, gather round. I'm feeling generous today, got you some gifts. You drop the bundle on the table, revealing a roll of rough cloth, needles, and thread. This is 380 coins worth of coarse cloth. Beihai, see if that's enough for new outfits for everyone. Money's a bit tight right now, you know? When we get more cash, I'll grab you guys some fancy floral stuff. Master, you don't have to buy more! This is plenty. Seriously. In this day and age, kids from normal farming families might go years without a new outfit. Most girls from regular families. don't even get their first new clothes until their wedding day. This gesture instantly brings the girls to tears. It's just a bit of cloth, no need to get all emotional. Don't cry. Bihai, straight up, is this really enough? It should be just about enough for 4 outfits. Just about means it's not enough. I'll grab another 100 coins worth tomorrow. Just don't make M too tight. It'd be awkward if you make new clothes and they don't fit. Or maybe the 4 of you can each make 1 less sleeve. And bare 1 arm pretending to be monks. Hearing you say this, the girls all burst into laughter. Sai pictures it. Even if we did, we'd be nuns. Oh, I didn't know you had such ambitions. Alright then, I'll help shave all your heads later. No, master! The little girls scramble to cover their heads, like some big bad guy is about to buzz their hair off. Now you won't complain about having nothing to do, right? Stop messing with the field, we'll be moving soon. The girls grab the cloth, chattering excitedly. You head back to your room to crunch some numbers. Now that Bihai and the others have passed their trial period, and Maoyan will soon follow in a few days. That's a 50 yuan subsidy a day, which shakes out to 500 coins in rice. So daily expenses are just like 30-40 coins, not a biggie. You can totally start thinking about snagging some land. System, hook me up with some good feng shui real estate nearby. And the system's like, yo, finding a village spot within 100 miles. That's gonna run you 100 yuan. You down? And you read just like, nah man, I ain't got that kind of cash right now. Gotta wait a few days. Later that evening, Bihai whips up dinner and calls you over. Master, time to grub. Dinner's looking like a wooden basin full of flatbreads, some stir-fried veggies, a soup, and a tiny bowl of pickles. Maoyan's mind is blown, no joke. These flatbreads ain't got no random weeds in M, and the veggies and soup are actually oily? Like, only landlords eat this good, right? This meal gotta cost like a dozen coins? But you sitting there looking totally unimpressed. What, we out of rice? Why's the quality dropping? Where's the shredded meat in the veggies? Bihai's all, master, you bought Maoyan today and all that fabric, so sorry, master. We still got eggs though. Alright, fry me up a couple eggs. Fry a few more so everyone gets some. I told you I got cash, stop stressing. You little housekeeper always worrying. A minute later. Bihai brings out a bunch of fried eggs, drops 2 in your bowl, and gives 1 to everyone else. She didn't make 1 for herself. You sigh, grab an egg from your bowl, and slide it over to Bihai. She sits down, head down, trying to hide her teary eyes. 1 egg's like 3 coins, so 5 eggs is 15 coins. Maoyan can't even wrap her head around this. She never thought she'd be worthy of a meal like this. Her first day at the master's place feels like a total dream. After dinner, she heads back to the west room with her 3 older sisters to keep sewing. It's dark, there's an oil lamp, but it's off. They all crash early on this big communal bed. Plenty of room for the 4 girls. Snuggled under warm, thick quilts, the little girl's anxious heart finally feels safe. If this is a dream, she hopes she never wakes up. The next morning, you head out alone with 20 caddies of rice. You sell it to a grain shop boss in town for 2 coins under market price. When you get back home, you call the 4 girls sewing cloves and announce it's payday. Then you pull out 4 fist-sized cloth bags from your pocket and plop them on the table. Bay is looking confused. Master, what's a salary? It's like a monthly allowance. You don't know. Maids in rich houses all get a monthly allowance. They still give you money even after you sign a bill of sale. Totally. That's how it is in fancy places. You guys aren't maids, so I'm giving you pocket money. It's pretty much the same thing. For now, you each get 100 coins a month. We'll go up later. What are you staring at? Come get your share. So the girls are just looking at each other. Nobody wants to step up and take the cash, because honestly, they never thought they'd actually own anything. And our guy's like, yo, I'm giving you money, and you're not taking it. Are you guys nuts? He's kind of forced to just shove these little coin purses into their hands. Then Bihai's eyes just go red, like, master, you're not giving us this money to ditch us, right? And the master's like, what are you talking about? You were sold to me. You with me forever. Even in death you ain't getting buried far from me. Hearing that, the little ones just burst out, laughing, wiping their tears. They get all brave and ask, master, is this money really ours now? Can we buy whatever we want? It's all yours. Spend it however you feel. You can even throw it down a well. I don't care. Nah, I wouldn't do that. Read the sneakiest one, I swear. Alright, money's dealt with. I'm gonna go take a nap. You guys do whatever you want. And with that, our guy pieces out back to his room. Now time to cook up the next plan. He drops 100 yuan to have the system scout out some prime feng shui land, about 10 miles out from Qingyu town. Another 100 yuan for the blueprints, deciding to build a crib on one side of the lake, and turn the other side into a commercial zone later. And just like 10 days later, boom, a massive 3-courtyard place pops up. It's simple. Yeah, but at least it's shelter. When the four girls roll up, their faces are just lit up. Master, is this our place now? Yeah, this compound is pretty basic. When we get more cash, we can totally tear it down and rebuild. Everyone go grab a room in the back, then we'll hit up Boss Wong for some furniture and move in, and bam. System drops a lucky draw for getting a fixed base. This lucky draw thing is super rare, apparently. He'd been holding onto the one from when he first activated the system, saving it for a real clutch moment. But now, the main mission is getting that bread. This shabby courtyard. It cost him like 20 days of subsidies. Future plans to grow the crew. Gonna need to hire people to clear land and all that jazz. Alright, so you rebroke, right? And what do? You pull a lottery ticket, thinking, Jimmy something easy, something that prints money. And the prize. Congrats, you got a distillation apparatus. Seriously, that's it. I was expecting some kind of cheat code. Maybe a way to make bank by, I dunno, evaporating seawater for salt. Or even just some cool gadget blueprints. Nope, just a fancy still. Fast forward a year, and the new house is ready. A carriage rolls up to the Lynn Manor. 4 excited little girls hop out. Behind them, a flab truck piled high with bed frame. Some scrawny dudes are asking, where do you want these beds? You tell Behi to handle it. 5 rooms each in the front and middle courtyards. Get these 10 beds set up first. And the crew's like, yes, Miss Behi, whatever you say. Behi's a little overwhelmed, but she's directing traffic like a pro. After that, the girls go wild cleaning the new place until it's practically night. Then they realize, wait, we haven't eaten! And the master's starving. So wash up, put on your Sunday best. Time to cook. To celebrate the new crib, Behi goes all out 4 dishes and a soup, served with fluffy white rice. And you raving about it. After dinner, it's time for the first ever family meeting. Look, you tell them, I'm gonna be doing a ton of stuff, and I can't do it all alone. I'll be doing a lot of things from now on, and I simply can't handle it all by myself. So our boy needs everyone to pitch in. Understood, master! We got this? Behi's gonna work hard and take care of you and this place. Nah, that's not what I'm saying. I'm talking about, like, business. Stuff those managers in town do. Managers, master, we can be managers too. Absolutely. But don't all managers gotta be guys. Think bigger. You gotta have a wider view, you know. Who even said women are less than men? But that's what everyone says. Okay, we'll get to that. First things first, Behi, how much cash we got left? Master, we've been buying stuff like crazy. We read down to 4 taels of silver and 3d20 copper coins. Looks like I gotta make some serious dough fast. Alright? Let me be real with you guys. My usual hustle brings in like 500 coins a day. That's 1 tael of silver every couple days. Over 100 taels a year, way too little. So, I brought something epic from my hometown. From now on, our main gig is gonna be selling liquor, and the girls, they immediately started buzzing with questions. You didn't spill all the beans. Just said the jeer's coming in a few days. Then you switched gears to decorating the place, what to buy. And even talked about teaching them to read and do math so they could help run the business later. But when they heard you wanted to teach them to read and count, the girls were shook. 'Cause, in everyone's eyes, studying was some high-class stuff. Just the books, pens, and fancy robes for a scholar. That's like 20, 30 taels a year. For regular folks, that's basically winning the lottery. You saw they were worried and confused, so you cleared it up, just basic reading and math, nothing crazy. Plus, you were gonna hire some full-time workers to clear out the wasteland or help at the manor. You were looking for about 20 people, no age or gender limits. Your main goal was those sweet system subsidies, so no taxes or land handouts. Now, you wanted to grow some killer crops and pay these workers. What do you think is fair? If they gotta buy their own food, a family probably spends over a tael of silver a year. Just some basic grains and wild veggies should keep them alive. Back home, we lived on wild veggies. A whole family only dropped about 1 tael of silver, and that was enough. Using that as a benchmark, you crunched the numbers, figuring a family needed maybe 125 copper coins a month for the bare minimum. Double that to 250 and they'd be living pretty good, but 250 sounded like an insult. So the wage is set at 300 copper coins per family, like per month, and our boy's gonna test it out with a few families. Honestly, converted to rum, that's like 30 bucks for whole family. Cheaper labor? Nah, fam. Hearing that, the girls who still had family back home were like, yo, can we bring our relatives? Gotta keep the good stuff in the fam, right? Our boy said bet. He actually wanted to roll out the red carpet himself, but Bai shut that down hard. She's like, master, do not get too chummy with the workers, or I'm running away and disowning you. Our boy was a little bummed, but rolled with it. The next day, 3 families show up, like 14 people total, all huddled in the courtyard, getting antsy, 'cause they haven't seen him. These farmers are proper, just standing there stiff as a board, not daring to move. Then bam! Bai struts out, head held high, leading the three girls. She steps up and drops the intro. Uncles, I'm Lin Bai. On behalf of the master, welcome. You re-ruin Sai and Miaoying's families, so no need to be super formal. But you gotta follow the manners rules. The master ain't a tyrant. Just stick to the rules, and he won't mess with you. The guys are immediately like, we'll follow the rules. There aren't even that many rules in the manor. First off, if you ain't summoned, you cannot step into the backyard. Got business. Reported at the entrance. Break these rules. Don't come crying to me when I get ruthless. And at this point, Beihai's face gets all stern, and no joke, these dozen-plus adults and kids are scared straight, barely breathing. You can crash in the middle courtyard. Each family grabs 2 rooms for now. Need more? Hit me up. And you girls, go get your families settled. After that whole spiel, Beihai turns and heads for the backyard. Our boy, chilling in the courtyard, just gives her a big thumbs up. Yo, I snuck over and peeked. Heard everything you said. Nice one, you're way better at this than I am. Beihai, this whole family is in your hands now. Master, stop messing with me. So, the 3 families rolled in that morning, with all their gear. By noon, they were mostly set up. 2 big tables are in the middle courtyard, ready to go. Beihai's sitting, pretty, at the head of the table, and the 3 girls are bringing out the food. We were talking 4 dishes, 2 with actual meat, plus tons of rice and steamed buns. Once everyone's seated, Beihai officially drops the announcement. First day here, the master's feeling generous and treating everyone to this meal. Don't be shy, dig in! Plenty of food. But keep an eye on the kids, don't let them pig out. Alright, stop staring. Alright, let's grub. Beihai grabs her chopsticks, and then everyone else can start shoveling food. Meal's done, tables cleared, and Beihai's like, peace out. She drops 3 little bags on the table, saying, the big boss knows your families are kinda broke. So he's fronting you some cash. 500 copper coins for each family. Go cop whatever you need at home. This'll get docked from your pay later. Speaking of pay, the boss and I chatted, and we'll figure it out based on how much you work. For you older dudes, a day's work is looking like 10 copper coins. The ladies get 7. The older kids can work too, and get paid different rates depending on their age. And this ain't set in stone. Your pay can totally change based on how well you do. You'll get paid every 10 days. Got questions? Come find me. If not, all dismissed. We start the real grind tomorrow. And hearing this, these guys' chests were puffing out. Seriously, even families with a ton of land back home weren't making this much in a whole year. But to you, it was still a steal. Once these 14 people cleared probation, you'd be making like $140 a day off them, while their wages only cost you about 10. You weren't losing cash, you were raking it in. Plus, this was like buy a legendary horse's skull to show you, serious. Once they'd been there a bit, their other family and friends would totally start showing up, begging to work too. And these villagers, they could help out with the real money, making side of things. Right now, the only play was slinging booze made with that fancy distillation rig you won. In this town, regular liquor was like 10 to 30 copper a pound. But regular folks, they barely touched it, only busting it out for New Year's or big holidays. It was the rich folks in the surrounding villages who were really downing the good stuff. So you grabbed your distilled liquor and went to haggle with Boss Zhang down at the local tavern. You hyped up how amazing your immortal drunk was and painted this picture of future market domination. Next thing you know, that tavern was basically the Lin families. After cutting out all the costs, you were pocketing 70 of the profits. Then you did a whole free tasting spree for all the rich folks, and Immortal Drunk blew up overnight in town. The cheap stuff was 10 coins a pound to a cup, but Immortal Drunk, 100 coins a pound, 20 a cup. The main selling point was just one thing, and 2 coins a bowl. But Immortal Drunk was 100 coins a caddy and 20 coins a bowl. Its main selling point was one word. So this Immortal Drunk stuff. It's so strong, even immortals would get hammered drinking it. Forget 1,000 cups no drunk, that's ancient history now. And get this one time a carriage rolls up, stacked with jars of all sizes. Beihai's chilling in the middle. Just flipping through her little notebook, business as usual. She hits the tavern, and Boss Zhang and Manager Fang are all smiles, greeting her. Manager Fang whips out the ledger, hands it over. Beihai's thumbing through the book, then pulls out her own notebook to do some quick math. She spots a number that's just off. Manager Fang, hearing this, snatches the ledger back fast, and starts going to town on his abacus. Turns out, he straight up admits he messed up. Beihai then drops the real reason she's there. Look, the demand for this immortal brew is insane, way more than we can make. So, we gotta jack up the price. Retail's gonna be 200 coins a caddy, and you guys get it wholesale for 100. Boss Zhang hears this, and his jaw just drops. Doubling the price. That's highway robbery, no joke! But see, this immortal brew is made from Boss Zhang's own base liquor. So he's thinking, okay, if this fancy stuff's going up, my base liquor should too. So, with a totally shameless grin, he goes, Miss Beihai, since the immortal drunk price is climbing, what about the wholesale price for my base liquor? Beihai's professional smile just melts away, replaced by this super bright, sunny grin. Oh right? Actually, I wanted to talk to you about that. A few days ago, some dude showed up, wanted to build a distillery near our place, and sell us base liquor super cheap. We had a little chat. Boss Zhang's face just drains of color. He starts waving his hands like a madman. Miss Beihai, you misunderstood. I wasn't trying to raise the price. It's just that my base liquor output has gone up, but I really can't drop the price any lower. I gotta pay my workers, so I misunderstood Boss Zhang. My bad, sorry. No, it's all my fault. I wasn't clear, and I made Miss Beihai misunderstand. After that little back and forth, they hash out a few more things, and Beihai finally collects her cash. She hops back in the carriage, does some shopping around town, then heads home. Once she's back, Beihai finally lets her inner kid out, playfully complaining to you that Boss Zhang is making a killing off our stuff, but he's still so greedy. In a few days, we were gonna kick him to the curb. You just nod. You handle, I'm just here for moral support. Master, we were making 900 jin a day right now. Selling to the tavern nets us 10 taels of silver, and they flip it for another 10. Compared to that, our expenses are nothing. The tavern also moves other liquors from Boss Zhang, not a huge profit, but covers their costs. So, our cut is 7 taels. The main expense is the raw liquor. We might need firewood later, but that's not much, so costs won't even hit 3 taels. That means our daily profit is over 14 taels, which is like 5,000 taels a year. Beihai was actually stunned by the numbers she'd crunched. The other maids got hyped, like wait, so we can just eat anything now. 14th auntie was already picturing it all in her head, totally daydreaming. But she snapped back to reality. Beihai, ever the realist, warned them to keep it on the down low, or they'd become instant targets. Beihai then dropped some truth. He wasn't cool with Boss Zhang handling the raw liquor. Better we do it ourselves, he said, even if the profit's a bit less, I will sleep easy. He figured they'd need about a dozen people for a distillery pumping out 5,000 gin daily. One of the maids quickly asked if a dozen was even enough. Shouldn't we hire more, master? We were not exactly broke. So they settled on the 20 people, 10 households, 10 men, 10 women. Perfect, they agreed. Get those people hired, pronto, Beihai commanded. Time to show that greedy Boss Zhang what happens when you cross us. With a clear goal. The maids immediately started strategizing. First question, where to build this new distillery. They needed to figure out the size, materials, equipment, barrel count, the whole 9 yards. Then Beihai dropped the real plan. They weren't building a new one. They were taking over Boss Zhang's distillery, workers and all. The maids were hyped. Discussion done, action initiated. Beihai dispatched a carriage to summon Boss Zhang. Someone else went to Boss Wang, the builder, to get the factory buildings going. Meanwhile, Sai and Miaoyan handled the grain supply, hitting up the merchants. And you the master, were just chilling at home, doing your best salted fish impression. But hey, the maids' negotiations, smooth as silk. Boss Wang and his crew rolled up, and you immediately had them start construction. The factory buildings were up in just over a week. As for Boss Zhang, well, to protect his main tavern business, he tearfully gave up his distillery. Qingliu town might not drink that much immortal's drunkenness daily, but your scarcity marketing. It was too good. People were always raving in the courtyard about immortal's drunkenness, swearing it was the best because of your secret ingredients and the constant threat of it running out. This made liquor lovers buy 1 gin to drink and 10 more to hoard. And now, with the price hike, it blew up even more. Everyone saw the writing on the wall. This wasn't just booze, it was an investment. So, naturally more people scrambled to buy it. Originally, your household had 19 people, bringing in a cool 190 yuan subsidy daily. But now, with a few families shifting over from Boss Zhang's distillery. So Beihai pulls in a few more families, bringing the total to 10 households, which is 53 people with the kids. And once their probation's up, these guys are looking at a sweet 720 yuan a day. No joke. Hearing this, you yo, the common folk gotta stick to the land, right? Beihai, you gotta get more people out there reclaiming wasteland. We need to grow more food. Yeah, money's good, but we gotta be responsible, man. These people are struggling. So, don't just look for men, okay? Elderly kids, monks, nuns, disabled, anyone willing to come, we gotta make sure they eat. That's social responsibility, got it? Got it, master! And as soon as the word got out, at first, people were kinda like, is this legit? But then you paid the first crew at the distillery. And suddenly everyone was lining up to reclaim the wasteland. But just growing grain wasn't enough. So you hit up the system for some high-yield seeds and snagged sweet potato seeds. Peeked at the system list. Yep, sweet potatoes were there for 50 cents a jin. You thought about the last time you ate a sweet potato and decided to grab some. You bought 20 jin, tossed M in a sack, and headed to the kitchen. Roasted M up and called the 4 maids over to chow down. You introduced it like, this right here, this is a sweet potato. I call it digwa. This is what we were gonna plant. Beihai's all ears. She keeps peeling her sweet potato, thinking it's pretty fire. Master, are we planting these all over the wasteland? We got enough seeds. This stuff is seriously tasty. So, what's the yield on this thing? It's solid. Amu can crank out 2 to 3,000 jin. That's like 10 times what regular crops do. And with that, the sweet potatoes in their hands just dropped. Master, you re-messing with us again. Something that high yield doesn't exist? Wanna bet? Can we bet on anything? Master, you gotta give us something good. They were all hyped. Sei is just grinning. She's got a feeling she's gonna get something awesome again. You just smirk back. These knave little maids, you have no idea what's coming. So our guy takes the 4 maids to an empty warehouse out back. Time for a little secret, he says. Turns out I'm an immortal. Then no joke, he just waves his hand and boom, 10,000 jin of sweet potatoes materialize, practically filling the whole place. The maids, though. They just start clapping, excited, not a single hint of fear. Wait, you guys aren't surprised, or even scared, he asks. Master, we not dumb, they tell him. We basically figured it out. You always with us? You never talk to anyone else. So anything you bring out has to come from nowhere. Honestly though, Master, we don't care if you an immortal or some demon. The few of us. We with you for life. Our guy's eyes start to sting a bit. These girls weren't even worried he might be some tiger demon ready to eat them. Alright, I'll be real with you, he says. I'm an immortal who kinda fell into this world by accident. I do have some magic powers. But I'm still just a regular dude body-wise. I'll get old, I'll get sick, and yeah, I'll die. So, you girls absolutely cannot tell anyone else my secret. Don't worry, Master. One maid promises. I wouldn't say a word even if I starved. Okay? Then one more thing he starts. My magic. It actually grows with the number of people under me. The bigger our operation, the more folks we have, the stronger I get. Every person is like 10 magic points. Got it, Master? Beihai will work her butt off to make you emperor. And just like that, over the next few days, construction just explodes. Building out the village alone took a solid 4 months. Boss Wang's construction team, It had swelled to over 200 people. Now, there's this massive street wide enough for 6 carriages to roll side by side. It's lined with 2-story buildings, and on either side, you've got over 100 shops, ranging from 3 to 10 meters wide. This thing stretches from the canyon mouth almost all the way to the lake. Our guy, with his 4 maids and a few attendants, walks the whole length of it. Notebook in hand, reports as they go out of those 200-plus shops. Only about a dozen merchants have moved in so far. 9 of them are grain shops. So yeah, we got shops, but they're all ours. We still small, just hit 800 people. Think of it like a sleepy little roadside town. Not enough cash flow to pull in big merchants. But don't sweat it. This place is only gonna get bigger. And the pay we offering. Super high, like having 200 rich families around. It's just that most folks are from rough backgrounds and are tight with their cash. They just need a little nudge. With that in mind, you asked about the price of Immortal's drunkenness. Cause it wasn't in the tavern anymore. Now it's going straight to the big players, like 500 yen a pound. We returning out 900 pounds daily, that's like 50 silver taels. And no middleman taking a cut, costs are practically zero. Insane profit margins. But Beihai, that's way too much money. We gotta watch out for shady characters, need to get ready for trouble. Got it, Master. I will start picking recruits for an army right now. You kinda choked on that. What army? This is just a local defense force. You were sweating a bit. But then you took a breath, shrugged, and shoved a book at Beihai. You leaned in, don't let just anyone see this. Beihai just nodded. She looked down, saw the title New Recruit Training Manual. This way, everyone knows why they here, who's feeding them, who's housing them, gives him pride, stops rebellions. Soldiers trained like this. Top tier. Any general tries to go rogue, he ain't making it out the gate. You suddenly remembered some news from a few days back. Some general up north flipped, and let the enemy through the pass. The emperor must be freaking out in the capital. You didn't want your own people to ever turn on you and cause chaos. Then you remembered the sweet potatoes would be ready soon. Told Beihai to get everyone ready to harvest for a few days, halt construction. All 800 or so folks in the territory were out in the fields by the canyon, digging up sweet potatoes. One guy was pulling one out of the dirt. He saw a fist-sized potato and a huge grin spread across his face. Whoa, this thing's massive! One of these will fill me right up. The master had promised everyone a taste after today's harvest, and word was, this stuff was delicious. Then someone noticed even more next to it. Digging one up, they instantly found another. The craziest part. The more he dug, the more kept popping up. His initial excitement quickly started morphing into genuine fear. Is this dude seeing ghosts? He wondered. How the hell can this much food just grow from the dirt? Across the field, another geezer was doing the same, his face mirroring that exact shift from hype to pure terror. Is this even real food? This old man was seriously losing it. He just grabbed one, dirt and all, and took a massive bite. Then he just broke out into insane, hysterical laughter. Meanwhile, our boy was just chilling at the field's edge, watching the whole thing from a comfy armchair, sipping tea. His four maids were nearby, chatting about family business. Suddenly Wang Dago came sprinting over, drenched in sweat, yelling "Master!" with a wild mix of excitement and pure panic. Everyone's gone absolutely bonkers, he shouted. People are just hugging raw sweet potatoes, gnawing on them like maniacs. They were eating, crying, and laughing all at once. It's terrifying. Our guy just stood up, taking a quick look. He calmly replied, "Relax, it's nothing big." They were just completely overjoyed. A little while later, Sai managed to find a few folks who hadn't totally lost it, and started measuring the harvest. The first plot's data came in fast 700 jin. They double-checked, just to be sure it wasn't a mistake. Then the second plot of 920 jin, almost 4,000. Next came the third, fourth, and fifth plots, all from different spots. The final average yield per mu, a mind-blowing 800 jin. The moment that number dropped, everyone was just absolutely speechless. Back then, rice and wheat usually pulled in only 80 to 100 jin per mu, coarse grains. Maybe 200 to 300. But this unknown crop, this thing they'd never even heard of, was yielding 40 times more than rice. And almost 20 times more than coarse grains. Yeah, no wonder everyone went completely insane. If you harvested all 200 plus mu of land, that's over 800,000 jin. Seriously, for a poor family, just one jin of coarse grain, mixed with some wild veggies, that could make enough porridge to last them a whole day. 400 jin was a year's supply, so 800,000 jin. That's enough to feed 2,000 starving families. We were talking 10,000 people. Now that's just enough to keep them from starving, mind you. Our boy thought it'd take ages to even hit 1,000 people in this village. But man, he completely underestimated how one sweet potato harvest would send everyone into a complete frenzy. After that, a huge chunk of the 800 locals, they went out and told all their family and friends how amazing this place was. Insane sweet potato yields, great wages, the whole package. No joke, in less than a month, over 200 new faces showed up. Then, once the review period wrapped up, the voice he'd been waiting for finally hit his ear. Congratulations. Upgrade conditions met. System upgraded to village level. Village level purchase list added. New units and authority settings added. Currency rights obtained. Next upgrade to town level, 50,000 people. Our boy immediately called his four maids, kicking off their second family meeting. He started first up. We were officially establishing a village. This ain't Lin family village anymore. It's Kaiksu village now. Second, I'm nominating Beihai as our village chief. But Beihai immediately waved her hands. Master, you should be chief. What would people even say if it was me? Nah, I can't. Plus, you've been killing it lately way better than I ever could. From now on, you re the boss. Alright, no more arguments. Done. Beihai just nodded, solemn as heck. Then he moved to item 3. Since we've got a village now, we need some actual functional units. Like a village chief's office. From now on, you guys are all working there every day. You are village leaders. Beihai's the chief, and the 3 of you are her deputies. We also need clerks for errands, and departments for things like household registration and public security. But let's take it slow. First up, the village committee office. Soon enough, right at the entrance of Kaiksu village, a bunch of people started building up an earth and stone mound. A massive stone, about a yuan high, got pulled into place by a dozen guys on ropes. The smooth side facing away from the village had Kaiksu village carved right into it. And at the same time, the village committee office was officially finished. It sat by the small lake, at the end of the commercial street, right across from the Lin estate. The whole setup was pretty low key, just a simple sign. A notice board stood at the entrance, right next to the brand new public security office. Meanwhile, the first big meeting was happening in the middle courtyard's conference room. Besides the 4 maids and their families, only 2 outsiders were there, Wang Chengjiang from the construction team, and manager Fang, the dude they recruited who used to run the town tavern. Okay, so first up, duties are getting assigned, and our girl Ruyan is taking over all the money stuff, especially that commercial street. She's got to get merchants in there quick to make it pop. And for the bank, just follow the master's plan, step by step. Plus, gotta keep the estate's businesses running smooth. Yeah, that includes the Immortals' drunkenness place. Manager Fang's there to help, but still, it's a lot of little things. So if she gets swamped, she can just train some folks while they work. Got it, she says. Next C is on village construction. Gotta check with the master for plans and Manager Wong for the actual building. Big thanks to Manager Wong, who's apparently way happier now than he used to be. Then Miaoyan is in charge of keeping the village safe. Gotta report any problems ASAP. Now wages. Most of the security team are temporary peeps. Their jobs chill, so they were getting 5 copper coins a day. The official guys like Sun Daju get 10. The older uncles are tier 3 15 copper coins, same as Manager Wong and Manager Fang. And the village chief himself, he's tier 5 24 coins. Rian and 2 others are tier 4 19. This is the master setup, so no objections. Cool. Let's pay out the last 10 days. So Ruyan stands up, pulls out this little pouch, and then a stack of paper. She counts out some sheets, lays them in front of Beihai, and counts them again. Manager Fang sees the paper and his eyes go wide. Paper money. This was like, system-made cash, but it cost something to print. You had 1 Jiao 10 yuan, 100 yuan notes. This is just paper money the master made for convenience. She explains, pegged to copper coins, 1 Jiao to 1 copper. It's easier to carry and spend. And hey, if anyone's worried, they can hit the bank and swap it for copper anytime. No pressure. Use whatever you like. For future paychecks, Royan's gonna be handing it out. We gotta be the first ones to use this new paper money. Alright, jobs are set. Got questions? Come find me. So, the big boss just wraps it up like, alright, everyone get to work. Meeting adjourned. And the whole reason for rolling out paper money. Yeah, our guy totally gets the whole money system thing. It wasn't just gonna make life easier for everyone. But if they played it right, the cash flow from this would blow the profits from some random product like Immortals' drunkenness clean out of the water. Everything was looking pretty sweet, smooth sailing, then, like a few days later, the system drops a bomb. Village population hit 1,000. Time for a full census and ID cards, stat. And our boy's just like, ugh, seriously. The system's population count is frozen at 1,000, not budging. So he grabs Miaoyan, and they hop in a carriage to the public security office. He finds this big, open room, snaps his fingers to bring out a machine, and then lays it all on Miaoyan. Okay, new gig for you, he tells her. From now on, you re in charge of the household census, and making sure everyone gets an ID card. You'll also be the gatekeeper for any new folks coming in, checking their ID. They'll all have a different observation period. I will brief you later. And you'll need to round up some people. Specifically for the household registration grind. This is super important. Miaoyan's just nodding like crazy. Yes, master. She jumps on the machine, starts messing with it, and bam, she's a natural. Our guy takes his spot, and Miaoyan hits a button. The machine whirs, spits out a card from a little slot, and it's got his full body pic with these measurement lines on the side. It even shows his height. Flip it over, and there's his name, birthday, ID number, and at the bottom, Taoyuan Village household registration. Miaoyan's eyes just light up looking at it. Master, is this an ID card? This is so cool. The picture's super clear. I want too! Alright, you go stand over there, and I will snap your pic. Click. Another ID card pops out. And for the next few days, folks were lining up daily to get their IDs done. 'Cause the notice basically said these cards were a huge deal. Like you'd need one to get paid later. Even brand new babies had to get one ASAP. After a bit, pretty much everyone was carded. And then the system's population count finally started moving. Once everyone was registered, it was over 100 people. Any new arrivals? Gotta get an ID card. The only difference was the card color. Newcomers got a temporary one. Everyone had their own assessment period. Like a regular person had to clock in a month to earn a permanent ID. That was the system's probation period. Otherwise, you could just throw cash around. Invite 1 million people to Taoyuan Village for free food, lodging, and even free eggs. Couldn't you rack up tens of thousands of people in no time? Before you know it, the autumn wind kicks in, and the trees just turn yellow overnight. So, while the farmers in the surrounding villages were chilling, because there wasn't much to do, Taoyuan Village was still going strong. The distillery was pumping, and the construction sites were buzzing. But yeah, the actual farming crowd had clocked out. So, some of those guys, they headed over to the construction sites for some quick cash. The pay wasn't as good, and no free meals like the official crew. But a day's work still meant you could stuff your face and have a little left over. For most people who'd been through the ringer, just being able to eat their fill from their own labor was a massive win. And now, with multiple wine spots popping up on the main street, People were actually starting to loosen their purse strings. I mean, in Taoyuan village, a family of 5 or 6 could easily pull in over 10 copper coins a day. And get this, Kaixu village was booming with weddings. We were talking about a village with just a little over 1,000 people. And suddenly there were dozens of newlyweds, mostly young dudes, who'd snagged brides from outside. There were 2 main reasons for this crazy boom. First, everyone was getting richer, so weddings were actually affordable. Second, a lot of these folks had been at the absolute bottom, and many who were old enough to marry were still single. Now that they were doing well, they could finally afford a wife, and the ladies had no problem finding a husband. The village even stepped in with some sweet deals. Any couple over 16 getting hitched got a new house with 3 years of rent totally free. And right at that moment, 3 fancy carriages were rolling up to Kaixu village. The curtain on the first carriage lifted, showing a dude with a killer beard, looking sharp. He was like, so this is Kaixu village, the birthplace of Immortal's drunkenness. Then a stunning woman's face popped up. She scoped out the scene and said, my lord, Kaixu village's streets are pretty impressive, even better than some towns. It's just a little quiet, not many people around. Yeah, that's to be expected. I mean, I heard they only started building this place like a year ago. To get it this far in just 12 months is pretty wild. So this power couple, along with their crew, rolled up to an inn right by the river. The second they stepped inside, the innkeeper was all over them, like, welcome, sir. You must be from out of town. How long are you planning to stay? We'll see. Let's book 5 days for now. 3 fancy rooms and 2 regular ones. The innkeeper rattled off, a deluxe room is 3 yuan, and a standard is 1 yuan. So 3 deluxe and 2 standard rooms for 5 days, that's 11 yuan. Plus a 3 yuan deposit, so 18 yuan total. So the innkeeper hits him with the price of 880 copper coins. And our guy, the middle-aged dude, he's like, yo, what's this yuan thing? The innkeeper's like, it's just our local cash makes stuff easier, and pulls out some paper money. The middle-aged dude sees the paper and he's not having it. Paper money. That's trash, and you guys are bold, printing your own currency. That's a death sentence. Nah, man, it's just like a voucher for convenience. You can swap it for silver anytime at the bank. Our master said no taking it out of the village. It's not real money. Then the beautiful woman, she's all over it, Trom. This is so pretty. Lem see. The kids are buzzing too, even the 16-year-old big brother, who's usually chill, can't help but peek. Who wouldn't be curious, right? Even the middle-aged man's craning his neck. The beautiful woman then asks the innkeeper if she can swap for some new bills to collect. But the innkeeper's looking stressed. No, sorry, master's orders. See, mun, if you don't snitch and I don't snitch, how's he gonna know? Plus, why all use this stuff, right? I can just swap with someone else. The innkeeper's begging, please don't make this hard. If you like it that much, go to the bank next door. They won't know what you're redoing, and you can probably get even newer notes. Fine, she says. Get our rooms ready. And for my change, just give me your local currency. She hands over a tael of silver. The innkeeper nods, takes the silver, and gives her 12 yuan back 110 2 ones. Then he whips out a ledger and starts writing. The middle-aged man catches a glimpse of the Arabic numerals in the ledger and his jaw drops again. He's like, innkeeper, what are you writing? I've never seen those symbols before. Oh, those are just the characters our master invented. Super simple, super easy, super clear too. Ever since I learned my job's been a breeze. The middle-aged man wants to ask for a lesson, but, being a scholar, asking a lowly innkeeper feels beneath him. So he just says, your master sounds like a genius. I'd love to meet him. The innkeeper beams. He really is practically a god. But visiting? Nah, he doesn't really see guests. Our master's maids handle everything, no sweat. Like Miss Beehai, the village chief. She was just a maid he bought back then. Same for Miss Ruyan. Now look at this whole street and the bank. Miss Royan's running it all like a boss. Oh, and you got Miss Sai and Miss Miaoyan too. Seriously, they all amazing. We call our villages of 4 golden flowers. Our master. That dude's got the Midas touch, no joke. And your village chief, she's a woman of serious virtue and character. I genuinely love to pay him a visit. Now, meeting our master. Not easy, but the village chief, totally doable. Anyway, enough chit-chat. Let me show our honored guests to their rooms. So, later, after they got everything settled, Madame Lin heads to the window. She sees the streets are pretty dead, kinda dull, and just decides to suggest something. She's like, let's go for a walk, honey, you wanted to visit that female village chief, right? Let's check it out. So, the couple, with their eldest son and daughter, head out. They follow the street, and boom, there's the village committee courtyard. A dude named Sun Daju pops his head out a window, asking, how can I help you? The eldest son, Ling Youngswan, steps up. He cups his fists and says, Our family just got to your village. My father's Lin Shujin. We'd like to see your village chief. If you could announce us. Son Daju just replies, hold on, we'll go tell her. And Amini scurried inside, totally forgot to ask why they were there. He bursts into Beihai's office, yelling, village chief? 4 people! He adds, they look like a family. And they mention something about a jurin. Beihai just clarifies, a jurin is just a title, not a real job. If he's introducing himself like that, it means he's got no official position. Send them in. Moments later, Sun Daju brings the 4 of them in. Beihai stands up and walks to the guest area by her desk. Ling Suijin was kinda surprised seeing Beihai. I mean, she's just a village chief. Normally, he wouldn't even bother with town elders, but here, things were clearly different. So he actually cups his fists himself, saying, I'm Lin Sujin. It's an honor to meet village chief Lin. She responds, hello, I'm Lin Beihai. Mr. Lin, please sit. Madam, young master, young miss, all of you, please have a seat too. She calls out, Chunlai Ti! Then turns back, Mr. Lin, you must be just rolled into Cakesu village. It's a small place, so news travels quick, especially the arrival of an esteemed jurin like yourself. So, what brings you here, Mr. Lin? He replies, my kids are grown, and I don't hold any official position anymore. So I figured I'd take them on a study tour from the capital, show them all these vast, beautiful lands. My master always said traveling 10,000 miles beats reading 10,000 books. Experience is the best teacher, you know. Ling Suijin hears this and, genuinely, he's a bit stunned. He takes a moment to process it all, then can't help but say, your master. He's a truly wise man. Just a few words, but man, did they hit different. Everything just clicked. I'd really love to meet him, Ling Suijin admits. The woman replies, my master usually doesn't see people, but I could invite you to my home, Mr. Lin. Our boy Lin Suijin gets it, she's offering an intro. He grins, nods. No rush at all. My master's actually teaching right now, she explains. So, perfect time for some tea. It's a special tea. She adds, one that only our master really has. You probably haven't tried anything like it, Mr. Lin. Oh, really? Lin Sujin says intrigued. Then I gotta savor this. He picks up his cup, takes a slow sip. And just like before, he's blown away. Impressed all over again. Soon after, Beihai takes the family by carriage straight to the master's place. She confirms with Xiao Qi and Xiao Ba that you, back. Then she guides the Lin family, all 4 of them, into the courtyard. And what are you doing? Playing red light, green light with like a dozen kids. Master, stop messing around. Guests are here. Someone calls out. You turn to the kids. Alright everyone, that's enough for today. We got visitors. Line up. Time to go home and eat. The second you say it, those dozen wild boys instantly snap into formation by height, give a sharp salute, and march off like little soldiers toward the gate. Ling Suijin quickly bows, hands cupped. I am Ling Suijin, he says. It's an honor to finally meet you, sir. A jurin, you respond. No need for all that formality here. Dinner's almost ready. Why don't you join us for a simple meal? Lin Sujin replies, in that case, it would be my honor. So the whole group heads to the main hall in the central courtyard and takes their seats. You speak up first. Gotta ask you to wait a sec, you say. Some of my girls aren't back yet, and we always eat together. We were in no hurry, Ling Suijin assures you. Then he shifts gears. A few months back, I heard the Northerners breached the pass. The Imperial Court must be in a real bind. How'd they solve it? He asks. Did they fight them off, or just pay them to leave? You respond, how the hell did you even know about that? Because from what I heard, the court did pay a hefty sum. But that info was never made public. The official story, they just drove the invaders back. This dynasty, 2 centuries old, rotten to its core. What's tough to grasp? What fighting force do they have? Northern wolves haven't changed in 20 years. 37 times they've breached the pass, just to plunder. 3 times last year alone. A general opening the pass was an accident. Seriously. Even if not now, it was coming a few years tops. Sir, a solution. Yeah, but it's tough. Please, sir, teach me. Pointless, forget. No, please, teach me. Our boy Lin Sujin stood bowing deep. You were kinda annoyed. Method's not hard. Need a sage lord or a pillar of the state with insane court power. Whose heart is for the realm. A good plan needs the right person. You. Just a jurin, no official standing. Give up this notion. Ling Sujin fell silent. But he pushed, if such a person existed, what would they do? You burst out laughing. Sir, why laugh? Because you re an idiot. I said nothing foolish. No reason, sir. Then I'm no fool. Then don't. You lack too much info. Explain it all. That's a day and night. I'll come daily for guidance. No time. Sir, can you just watch as common people get trampled by barbarian hooves? Those savages are brutal, you know. As the saying goes, the fate of the nation. Whoa, stop. Don't hit me with grand principles. Look, this whole realm belongs to the Li family, not the Lins. And even if it did belong to them, it's got nothing to do with me. Plus I'm a man without morals. So you can't exactly bind me with your morality. Bro, Ling Suijin looked like something just snapped inside him. He just glared at our boy, absolutely fuming. Then with a furious flick of his sleeve, he just stormed right out the door. The rest of them practically scrambled to follow him. Once the Lin crew finally cleared out, Beihai zipped right over and grabbed our guy's hand. Her face was practically glowing. Master, you were incredible. You actually called a Jurin foolish and unlearned. I knew it. You'd be the best emperor. No joke. Oh, I gotta go tell Ruyan and everyone else just how magnificent you were today. I literally feel like I'm gonna burst. Our boy just let out a resigned sigh. Beihai, not this again. Meanwhile, Ling Sujin was still storming off with his wife and kids practically chasing after him. The coachman, probably super confused why they'd all burst out like vengeful spirits, still stepped forward. Master Lin, are you heading back to the inn? I can take you. No need, Ling Sujin snapped, picking up his pace even more. Madam Lin finally caught up, panting, and grabbed his arm. Why are you walking so fast? I don't think that guy has any real talent, honestly. He's just full of hot air. Why did you even listen to him? Let's just get out of here. We're not staying. I won't stand for his insolence. Lin Suijin just sighed, finally stopped, and turned to his son. Xuaner, what do you make of this master? I can't see through him. He didn't even finish his thoughts. So he's either some arrogant loudmouth, or a dude with unfathomable depth. But considering village chief Lin's capabilities, for someone that capable to be just his handmaiden, yeah, I'm leaning toward the latter. He's genuinely extraordinary. It's just a shame he's not willing to use his talents for the good of the realm. Let's head back. He just tells her, we'll go back tomorrow. And she's like, wait, what? What, tomorrow? Dude, then why'd you just storm out? Don't tell me you re-mad, 'cause he dissed you. He just looks at her. You really think I'm that petty? Yeah, I was angry. But not for me. I'm mad that this dude has the actual wisdom to save everyone. And he just refuses to do anything. I gotta chill. Can't learn squat like this. Genuinely, I think he could bring peace to the entire world. If he'd teach me, I'd kowtow right there, become his formal disciple. My only fear? He'll say no. So the next day, our boy Ling Sujin sends a formal calling card, but you just glance at it like it's a fly buzzing. You send back word now, not seeing him. So after waiting all morning, Ling Sujin just leaves, silently. Third day, he's back. Again, waits all morning. This dude does this for 7 straight days. By the last day, the gatekeeper doesn't even bother delivering the card. Defeated, Ling Suijin heads back to the inn, tells his wife to rent a whole courtyard. He's settling in for the long haul. Then he goes to the village committee office, looking for Beihai. And he tells her he wants a job, in Keksu village. Beihai nearly loses it right there. So she says, you gotta be kidding me. A Jurin like you, even without connections or a big name. You could easily get a 7th rank official post in the capital. That's a way more prestigious gig than some county magistrate of the same rank. What in the world are you doing here, looking for a job in our village? She had to double check. So, she ends up making him deputy village chief. That night, Beihai gets home and tells you everything. Luckily, Yuri just worried about him being a nuisance, not actually mad he's staying. Beihai breathes a sigh of relief. The very next day, Ling Suijing reports to the village committee courtyard. Beihai herself shows up, not just to settle him in Miaoyan, making him the head of the reputation department, but also giving him a front row seat to Keksu village's terrifying production power. Later, at a village committee meeting, Ruyan held up the newest report, all about Immortal's sin. Our boy Lin Shujing quickly crunched the numbers. 100 jin shipped daily at 60-50 when each. The total blew his mind. That's 65 taels of silver a day, easily over 20,000 taels annually. This sum was nearly what an entire prefecture collected in annual taxes. But wait, a prefecture has hundreds of thousands of people, while Keksu village, just 100. Lin Shujing was genuinely floored. After the meeting, he even blew off Miaoyan's invitation to check out the public security office. He just went home, needing to process everything. Then, a voice cut through the quiet, you must have been an official before. That startled Lin Suijing, who immediately stood and bowed. You just nodded back, pulling up a chair like it was no big deal. You then started, I was a little worried. So I dropped by. And yet, you've definitely been an official before, a local one at that. Lin Shujing confirmed, yes, I started in the capital. Eventually, I moved to an external post, even became a prefect. You just nodded. That's precisely my concern. Keksu village isn't like anywhere else. Most of your past experience as an official probably won't apply here. When it comes to actually governing Keksu village, you're currently no match for Miaoyan. Think of it like this, Miaoyan is a blank canvas. You're already a messy painting. A blank canvas has endless potential, but a painting that's already messed up is tough to fix. So don't rush into giving orders. Just watch, listen. If problems pop up, talk to Miaoyan and Bihai first, then decide. Lin Suijing heard all this, and while he clearly wasn't entirely convinced, he just nodded along. No arguments. Then he finally asked the question burning a hole in his brain, why does Keiksu village make so much money? It's baffling. You just looked at him. Bro, you remissing the forest for the trees. How could Keiksu village ever be an ordinary place? And honestly, immortal sin has nothing to do with the actual villagers. 1,000-person village normally pulls in less than 200 taels in tax revenue. Sure, a prefecture says it has hundreds of thousands of people, but that's usually just farming households. Proportionally, their tax revenue should hit around 100,000 taels, but the government actually demands. Everyone paid taxes except scholars. Farmers got hit with an agricultural tax, others a poll tax. If they actually enforced this, a single prefecture could easily pull in over 1 million taels. Ling Suijing just stared, completely stunned. But our guy just looked at him with pure disdain. Impossible. He scoffed. Bro, that was a conservative estimate. Once you actually count the people in a prefecture, those numbers just appear. You were a prefect? You don't know how much tax you could collect? Oh, our confused prefect. Stop thinking about all that. You're the deputy chief of Keiksu village now. Just do that job first. I told Miaoyan to give you 3 days off. Come back then. Honestly, you look like you will trip into a hole just walking. Now go. Don't bother me unless it's important. If you actually achieve something, then you can ask for advice. Otherwise, don't even bother. Keiksu village doesn't support idlers. With that, he just turned and walked away. The very next day, Lin Suijing showed up to the village committee business as usual. He immediately spotted Miaoyan. Mr. Lin, what are you doing here? Master said you were taking time off. Nah, can't do that. Don't we get paid by the day here? A few days off means a few days lost wages. Miaoyan frowned, then nodded. True. I don't need to worry about money. Master handles my food and lodging. But you, sir, probably need to earn money for your family. Lin Suijing burst out laughing. This little girl was hilarious. I have a daughter, Lin Mengxuan. You know her, right? She doesn't have many friends. After work tonight, want to come over and play with Mengxuan at my place. But I have to go home for dinner after work. And then, master's class. The word class made Lin Suijing's eyes light up. He wanted to join that class too. He instantly changed his pitch. Okay, Miaoyan, what if Mengxuan came to find you and went to class with you? Miaoyan, she has no friends here. She's so lonely. Please, I'm begging you. After work, after dinner, I'll have Mengxuan meet you and go to class, okay? Alright then. Sister Mengxuan is super cute. I'll play with her. So this little girl, Miaoyan, she's totally cool with getting in trouble, right? She's like, if the master will just give me a slap on the wrist. He's too nice to actually hurt me. And our boy Lin Suijing, he's feeling all guilty about pulling one over on this kid, but also secretly stoked. Later that night, Miaoyan dishes all the deets. Now, not exactly a selfish dude, but you still say no, she just couldn't keep up. But yo, this actually sparks an idea. Maybe it's time to get this place educated. Keiksu village is blowing up, and they're gonna need smart people. They don't need to be rocket scientists, but like, basic reading and math, essential. So school's in. Later that same night, Lin Mengxuan rolls up in the Lin family's fancy ride. Lin Suijing thought he had it all figured out, but nope. Miaoyan drops the bomb, all apologetic, Mr. Lin, sorry, but the master says Sister Mengxuan's missed too much class and can't catch up. But don't sweat it. She adds, the master's gonna build a school soon. Then you can sign up. Sister Mengxuan can go then. Pretty cool. Lin Suijing just forces a smile, all his brilliant plans now toast. And just like that, the year's winding down. You hook up all the workers at the Lin estate with a year-end bonus and a sweet 3-day paid vacay. This move totally pumps up the local economy, turning the usually chill commercial street into a total party zone. Everyone's grabbing their New Year's goodies, and like tens of thousands of coins are flooding the market. This shopping spree keeps going until the 30th, when bam, the whole town's lit up with lanterns, and the estate is still popping off. The ones with families get to bounce for the holidays, but the rest, just lonely, orphaned kids. You get plunked down in a chair. Over 30 people are on their knees, bowing in unison. What's all this fuss? You rebleeding the master dry. Alright, one by one, come get your red envelopes. Thanks, master. Bihai's up first, snagging a massive red envelope. She rips it open. 10 thick purple, red 100 yuan bills stare back. Miaoyan gets hers too. Whoa. 1,000 yuan. That's a whole grand. Mine's 1,000 too. Honestly, I'm right there with you guys. We lonely folks have found each other. So it's like we all a family now. I don't need much from you. I just hope you all living it up and happy. After your little speech, the 30-ish people in the courtyard go quiet, tears welling up. Seeing that, you decide to shake things up and start renaming everyone. Chunlin, you've got a voice like an angel and an artist's touch. From now on, you relin Jinny. So Chunlin just drops to her knees, like, bam. And you re-looking at Kyuju, telling her she's gorgeous and her new name is Lin Jingyan. Apparently you were brainstorming names for these 30 new family members. Now your core crew is like 35 strong and you retelling Ruyan, dude, don't bring me this many people. Seriously, I'm gonna run out of names if you keep this up. Ruyan's like, yo, I was gonna save names for the high achievers. But you re too soft-hearted. How are we supposed to motivate them later? Was I wrong? Now you re the boss, you re never wrong. Plus, you always said girls should be a little unreasonable. Fine, I won't bring random kids home. Too many siblings to keep track of. The New Year holiday wraps up, and everyone heads back to work. Then day 5 Ruyan's clothing factory officially opens for business. They kick things off needing 100 women, which is awesome for jobs, with more coming if things go well. These clothes were ready, made, and workers were looking at making like 50 to 80 cents a day, depending on how fast they worked. And get this, they were also taking custom orders. They set up an assembly line, which totally boosted efficiency. So even with cheap prices, they were raking in cash. Next thing you know, there's a new clothing shop on the main drag, Ruyan Fashions, taking up 3 spots. A regular outfit was only a couple hundred yen, totally affordable. Plus, no more spending hours and hours making your own clothes. So these ladies came at noon and legit shopped until it was almost dark. All these fancy wives from the wealthy families, rolling up in like a dozen carriages, dropping 20 taels on a whim. The manager, super respectful, hands a card to one of them. Madame, since you spent over 20 taels, you re now a member of Ruyan Fashions. From now on, all your purchases get a 5 discount, and you will be first in line for new arrivals. Anytime there's a product launch, an exclusive invite is coming straight to you. She didn't get all the fancy words, but our old madam knew she just called them big, time special privileges. Meanwhile, the other rich ladies were practically glowing green with jealousy. They quickly started doing the math on the outfits they were holding. They all hustled back to the racks, then dropped their addresses, hyped for those invites and new product launches the manager promised. Before long, those dozen-ish carriages rolled out, but they left behind over 200 taels of silver. That's close to a medium to large village's entire annual tax revenue. Just saying. Man, I didn't expect Ready to where to blow up the market this fast. And it's not just these dozen landlords in Kinyu town. There are tons of other towns out here too. This clothing shop, it's gonna be a pillar industry for the village, I'm telling you. Big sister. I want to move all the everyday clothes out of this shop, put them in their own store. Then for Ruyan Fashions itself. My plan is to only sell stuff over 100 yuan, purely for the high rollers. Sounds good, I'm with you. Do a killer job, alright? I hope Ruyan Fashions can be like Immortal Sin and rake in serious cash for the master, helping him build up Taoyuan village even better. Absolutely, big sister, I'll crush it. Now, the clothing factory did provide a lot of job opportunities for Taoyuan village, but the villagers were still just barely getting by honestly. So on this particular day, Elder Wu's carriage rolled into Taoyuan village again. He stood there at the entrance of the village committee courtyard. It wasn't super tall or fancy, but still impressive. And his legs were actually shaking a little. Elder Wu, you made it? I'll go let them know you re-here. Good, I'll wait. Much obliged. Soon, Elder Wu was following son Daju into a reception room. He walked in to find Beihai Ruyan, Sai Miaoyan, and some handsome middle-aged dude all chilling in the main seats. They were all lined up on both sides. Then, with a heavy thud, Elder Wu dropped to his knees. This lowly one, Wu Yukai, bows to the prefect. Stand up. I'm not the prefect anymore. I'm just a scholar who passed the imperial exams. So from now on, no more kneeling for me. Bringing a 5-spice gift in your old age. This must be official business. And since it's official, we deputy village chiefs gotta talk it over. So spill it. What's up? Isn't it springtime? So the higher-ups dropped a new order. Every able-bodied man from 17 to 55 in nearby villages had to report for 2 months of labor. Our boy was thinking, hold up, isn't there a way to just pay your way out of this swaying service? Yeah, one tael of silver per person. So the decision was made, if money talks, they'd make it sing. Ling Su immediately whipped out her notebook to count every eligible guy. Good thing she kept stats because after a quick tally, they had 244 men. Rian, he said, get Wu Shanglao 244 taels of silver. Moments later, our boy Wu Sanglao, lugging over 20 pounds of silver, practically skipped out of there. After he left, Bihai turned to Deputy Lin. Post a notice, he instructed, the village is covering everyone's swaying expenses this year. And get this, from now on, the village would pick up the tab for this annual swaying festival, meaning nobody paid a single cent. Naturally, The villagers were absolutely hyped to hear their burden was lifted. I mean, this swaying gig was brutal, no wages, bring your own food. For these folks, it was basically a trip to hell. The very next morning, Lin Suijing slapped a new notice right over the old one, and a crowd instantly gathered. Just 3 days later, the Taoyuan Village Elementary School kicked off its new semester. Big announcement: school was now completely free for all official village residents. But wait, there's more. Pass the entrance exam, and you get a daily stipend of 2 coins, same as a daily wage paid every 10 days. For as long as you live in Taoyuan. Someone in the crowd just had to ask Village Chief Bing, so I can just go to school after playing at home. Free school. The place erupted into a commotion, like a battle had just broken out. Education, after all, was the ultimate status symbol back then. Supporting just one scholar could easily cost 20 or 30 taels of silver a year. Almost nobody could afford that kind of money. Lin Shijing was thrilled at first, then realized the villagers might get the wrong idea. So, our boy quickly cuts in, hold on, don't even think about your kids becoming scholars. Becoming an official is impossible. I guarantee it, he stated. Our school is different. Kids learn to read, write, and do arithmetic. You get a certificate upon graduation, and yes, that 2-coin daily stipend for life. That stipend, it's not much, but it means guaranteed survival. Hearing this, villagers' eyes just lit up. Learning math and writing was on the table. Way easier jobs, higher pay. Genuinely, everyone's eyes practically exploded with excitement. I mean, who doesn't want their kid to have an easy life, happiness? Can't guarantee that. But seriously, wasn't that enough? Yeah, it was more than enough, Mr. Lin. Village Chief Lin, you basically saving us all. And get this, anyone from Taoyuan Village could sign up. Graduate, and you getting 2 coins a day. A burly dude in his 30s pushed through. Seriously, Chief Lin, you ain't kidding, right? You think I could do it? Recapable Lin told him. Ambition is all you need. The guy's face went red, but this time, it was pure, excited passion. That was all the encouragement needed. Everyone signed up, and on day 1, no joke. Applicants absolutely blew past expectations. The school couldn't fit that many people. After a quick huddle, the chiefs decided 3 level 1 classes, 3 level 2 classes, 50 students each. The first 300 signed up folks would start. Their custom materials weren't even that crazy, just 2,000 common characters. Math was basic: add, subtract, multiply, divide, plus some general knowledge. The whole level 9 course, 9 months done? Even if someone repeated, a month of review was plenty. New semester kicked off. Lin Suijing pushed open the door, walked in, and everyone snapped to attention, focused and serious. Alright, I'm Lin Suijing. Most of you know me, but today, I've got another job, principal of Taoyuan Village Elementary School, and your teacher. Lin Shu himself would only teach the level 2 class, focusing on pinyin. That course was a month-long, mornings for class, afternoons for rest or work. Graduate from that, and students could pick other classes. Once all 9 levels were ready, passed the final test, you got your graduation certificate. Plus, each new student got a full set of learning materials, worth 5 yuan. Even at 500 per person, that was pocket change for our boy. With the gods covering all village expenses, they barely needed subsidies. He'd saved millions, and the school only ran half-day classes. This gave everyone half a day to either work and earn money, or study on their own. 6 teachers, including the 4 ladies from Beihai, plus Lin Suijing and Zhou Mingqing, could handle the whole curriculum. They'd only need half a day on the office island. Taoyuan Village wasn't huge, and everything was already running like clockwork, so problems were rare. The plan was simple: train up some grads, pick the best to become teachers themselves, and then they'd be free and clear. Soon Taoyuan Village's school would be legendary. Then one day, a family of 6 showed up at the village entrance, after traveling all the way from the mainland. An older woman in a black uniform walked up, asking what they wanted. Is this Taoyuan Village? Yep, it sure is. What brings you here? We heard you have a school for kids. Is that true? My grandson goes there. How much is it? Is it really free? Free school, kid. They even give you pens and notebooks. But here's the catch, that sweet deal was only for actual village residents. They don't take money from outsiders, so how can my son get in? Easy. Get a temporary ed from the local police. Stay clean for a month, no crimes or funny business, and you get a permanent ed. Then you a Taoyuan Village resident. Now your kid can go to school. And these folks weren't the only ones doing this either. Not since Taoyuan Village. The word got out about the free school and all the other perks. People started selling off their land, packing up their bags, and willingly moving here just to be laborers. In just days, the village population exploded past 2,000, massive growth. The numbers kept climbing, making the whole village visibly prosperous. Who knew a simple school could spark such a boom? A few months later, the first class of students officially graduated. Some stayed behind, becoming teachers themselves, instantly earning a high-tier second-level salary. Others already had jobs lined up with local businesses, pulling in way more than what normal folks made before any exams. Principal Lin Shuijing beamed from the stage at the ceremony, a smile glued to his face all day. Seeing these outstanding students thrive under his wing, the pride was indescribable. But then the next day he saw a newspaper article about a burly man from the West, reporting widespread famine in the desolate western lands. People, once neighbors, closed their eyes in anguish, their fists trembling in silent farewell. 3 years later, the herders were still suffering, living in pure misery. He felt that crushing guilt, but what could one guy do against both nature and man-made chaos? You caught those same signals, realizing it was time to build some serious muscle. So you called a big meeting in the courtyard, where everyone gave their updates. Turns out the village hit its saturation point, everything was on schedule, and they were at 6,000 people strong. You gave the green light time to open that mining pit. The master of ceremonies, with less construction work now, got the assignment. The plan: 2 mines, an iron and a coal, right next to each other. They'd recruit a couple hundred miners. Then Grandpa would drop some steel-making knowledge, and boom, blast furnace on site to crank out steel. Bro was thinking big. Leave it to me, she said, but Ling Suijing was silent, her brow furrowed. See, iron was an imperial monopoly. Only the court touched that. Toyuan village messing with this. That was a death wish. Small scale, maybe fine, but if they blew up, the court would call it rebellion. As she spiraled, Ruin snapped her back. Deputy Village Chief Lin. What's on your mind? I need your help with something. Lin Shuijing apologized for zoning out. Please, Village Chief. He explained both mines were in the county. He needed her to negotiate buying a few mountains from the magistrate, claiming the master wanted a manor and some land. Lin Shuijing hesitated, then asked, Village Chief, what exactly are we doing with these mines? Our village needs tons of iron, and the court ain't giving us squat, he explained. We gotta be self-sufficient. Plus, you know how things are right now. The world's a mess. Anything could happen. The rebels are already in our backyard. We need to be ready. Lin Shuijing got it then. They couldn't count on the imperial court. They had to count on themselves. The very next morning, Lin Shuijing drove dozens of miles to Jide County and personally penned an invitation. The county magistrate was wined and dined at the fanciest spot in town. Even though Lin Shuijing wasn't officially ranked anymore, he used to hold a position. So the Jide County magistrate had to show some respect. The 2 men drank and chatted like old friends, catching up. Lin Shuijing then casually brought up buying a few mountains. The magistrate, who could appraise them himself, sold them for a measly 3,000 taels of silver. What a steal. With the deal done, Bihai led a caravan of dozens of carriages, heading for a small mountain roughly 20 miles outside Maitang town. The convoy rolled into town, checked into the biggest inn, and booked the best restaurant, having pre-warned the 3 elders. After all the arrangements, Sai bought a big house in town the very next day. This house became their local hub. The next morning, they led the main force to the target site. The mines, bought for millions, had smaller reserves but were super easy to develop. These guys surveyed the whole area, and in just a few days pinpointed the perfect mining spot. Then, they threw up some basic structures around the site and started recruiting from nearby villages, offering a daily wage of 10 coins. More and more villagers kept showing up, with some of the dudes getting straight to work mining ore. One crew handled all the wall and house construction, while the women took point on logistics. In just 10 days, they had 3 small settlements basically ready, each with over 100 people working their butts off. Everything was running like a well-oiled machine. Our boy the MC wasn't just chilling either, he started on other big projects for Taoyuan Village. Things were looking up, no doubt, but Taoyuan Village's potential was capped by its surroundings, meaning it could outgrow its space any minute. So the MC pulled out some blueprints and started planning the next phase, mapping out the whole surrounding area. They even picked a name for the second village, already Xinghuo Village. Next up, getting more people. That same day, 2 grimy miners were on their lunch break, chowing down and chatting. One of them leaned in and said, Yo, heard they rebuilding a new village down south. Dude, I'm not blind. It's a huge area, houses are popping up all over the place. Looks like it'll hold thousands once it's finished. So you're saying things are gonna get better, and maybe we'll finally eat until we refull. You still starving? Stop asking dumb questions. Just then Manager Liu strolls over, and these guys immediately start sucking up. Manager Liu, the food here is amazing. There's even meat. This is heavy labor, man. We need this kind of grub to keep our strength up. It's tough work, but if I eat like this every meal, I can handle anything, no sweat. I went all out yesterday. I pulled in 10 coins. Did the math, I can make 3 taels of silver a year here. Work hard for a few years, save up, and I can buy more land. Life's gonna be way better. That's a solid plan. Hope and dreams, that's what makes life worth living. Hey, Liu Guanxi. So how much do you pull in a day? Just curious. Manager Liu gave a tiny smirk. He knew they'd taken the bait. He leaned in and whispered, I handle arrangements, stats, logistics. No manual labor for me, so my salary's a little lower. Right, I get it. Comfy job. Less pay than us, but it's chill. Our boy Liu breaks down his pay, and external assignment nets him 15 yuan, plus 20 cents daily for finishing elementary school. That's a solid 17 win daily, and the dude asking was legit stunned. Suddenly, his flatbread looked sad. This manager Liu, barely older than his own kid, was pulling in 17 win a day. Jealousy hit him hard, so he shot back, how do I get that kind of cash? Liu just shrugged, easy. Xinguo Village is opening up registration soon. Apply, do a month's probation, and you re-in. Taoyuan Village is sending over teachers. Go to school, graduate, and if you work in Xinguo Taoyuan, or any of the master's businesses, you get a guaranteed 20-cent daily subsidy. For life. The man's breath hitched. Manager, I need a few days off, no, half a day. I will be back this afternoon. Liu just waved him off, chill out. It's still a few days away. I will tell you when. Now eat. Then our boy Liu grabbed his lunch, saying he wanted more air, and walked off to some other folks. Fast forward a few days, and you arrive at Xinguo Village, there to check out the progress. And in the distance, who do you see? Sai, absolutely hauling ass, skirt flying. You hop right out of the carriage, rushing to catch the winded Sai. You crazy kid! Why are you running? My carriage is way faster than those tiny legs. She just gasped. Master, I missed you. If this is too much, you can always go back. Someone else can take over. Nope. I haven't gotten anything done yet. No way I'm going back to let big sister roast me. You pat her head. Alright, you've done good. Then you notice the 3 boys trailing behind. Hype but keeping it cool. No need to talk about how tough it's been, boys. I read your reports, you killed it. Their chests puffed out instantly. Next you head to the Xinguo Village Public Security Office. Inside the registration room, you just wave a hand, and boom, a massive machine pops into existence. So precious, you sigh. Each one of these bad boys costs $1 million. Luckily Taoyuan Village's population is over 7,000, meaning a daily subsidy of 70k. So $1 million, that's barely 10 days work. But everything else in the system is wild expensive. Even a small iron or coal mine runs several million. Pondering that, you turn to Sai, your closest kid. Alright? Get people in here to apply for their ID cards. A sap. Sai just grinned. Master, my magic only works if you guys give me something to do. With that minor task sorted, she leads you to the new estate. Green bricks, white tiles, this place is a serious upgrade from the old pad. You look at this new mansion and sigh. Back home, Beihai's been itching to tear down our old house for ages. I just couldn't be bothered with the headache, so I always said no. Honestly, I bet it's already gone by the time I get back. Sai nods. Yeah, big sister was ready to rebuild it a year ago. So, Ruyan, you know, the one who's always stirring up trouble, she suggested something. After a solid night's sleep, our boy checks in on the village plan. Over the next few days, he hits up the mines and the steel plant, and yeah, iron and coal are flowing like crazy. The steel plant. It's up and running, churning out steel like nobody's business. And the quality, it straight up freaked out the blacksmiths. We were talking over 800 workers across these 3 spots. Add in the construction crew and the families, and this village just blew past 2,000 people. Our guy's stoked. Xinguo Village is looking good, no joke. He figured it's been long enough for Beihai and the crew to wreck the house. So, he hops on a carriage back to the city. 2 days of bumpy roads later, he's feeling pretty good seeing the Taoyuan Village boundary stone. But then he gets to his doorstep and sees the whole place is just gone. Flattened. And he's like, where am I supposed to live now? A few days pass. And our guy calls a meeting with all the village committee members for another huge announcement. He drops the bomb. Alright everyone, Taoyuan Village officially has over 8,000 residents, and Xinghua Village just broke 2,000. That's over 10,000 people total. So, after talking it over with the master, we re-upgrading Taoyuan Village to Taoyuan Town. Yeah, Taoyuan Village is now Taoyuan Town. The place erupts in applause. This upgrade is huge, a real step up for Taoyuan's whole operation. For the committee, it means raises, which is pretty sweet. After the meeting, Beihai rolls back to her place in a carriage and spots some dude chilling in the living room. Mingwu, what are you doing here? Sister Beihai, have a seat. How did it go? Super smooth. The armor and weapons are done. We've got 200 sets ready. I think it's time we get training. Alright, let's give it a shot, but you 4 gotta be careful. Seriously. If anything happens to you, the master will never forgive me. Mingwu snaps to attention. He stumps his foot, turns and heads out. Meanwhile, this autumn is brutal out west. A massive drought hits, crops fail everywhere. The government's got no cash for relief. A few decent local bigwigs try to help, but it's like spitting in the ocean. Rebellions start popping off everywhere. Multiple places raise their flags. The biggest group of refugees storms a county town. These disaster victims are starving, but they were also absolutely wild, spreading like a plague, getting stronger, and even the army can't handle them. And then, across this massive landscape, a cavalry of 200 riders appears, moving slow and steady. They roll up to a village that used to be peaceful. But now it's just a wasteland. So, they buried the bodies right there, dug 'em deep, and then just chilled. Like, this is the spot, man. It keeps us focused on why we were even doing this. Word about the wolf cavalry went nuclear, right? Their rep was huge in the west, and yeah, the Emperor's crew noticed. They tried digging up dirt on these guys, but nada. Lucky for them, these wolf cavalry were only taking out refugees. Otherwise the court would, we had a massive headache. Anyway, time marched on, the West's refugee crisis calmed down, and that weird disease from the big disaster got under control. Poof, the wolf cavalry vanished. Little did anyone know, they'd all just clocked out to go home for New Year's. Like told M to make sure they came back for the big celebration. Meanwhile, back at the Lynn estate, everyone was just chilling in this open space, in front of this 3-story building. You were just taking it all in, accepting the bows and New Year wishes from a bunch of young guys and maids, then handing out a ton of red envelopes. It was still a 3-day holiday, New Year's. After that, it was back to the grind. Sai, though, was worried about Singhua village, so she bounced with a convoy on the second day. Then after work that evening, Lin Xuijing rolls home, and Mrs. Lin hands him a stack of letters. These are from the capital, she says. One from your dad, one from my dad, and a few from your buddies. Lin Xuijing just nods, cracks open his dad's letter, and after like 3 lines he's jumping up. That old bum got fired! Yes? Yes. We got a party. And this old bum he's talking about, the current Grand Secretary, Ling Xuijing Lo, he thought the guy was a total hack. But this dude was sitting in a top-tier position, playing politics instead of, actually being loyal and serving the country. He'd wanted to shake things up way back. He'd even sent official reports to the court, like, multiple times. But this old dude just shot them all down. So he straight up quit in a huff. Turns out, the Grand Secretary really was incompetent, cause he got the boot and kicked out of the capital before the year was even over. Finally, after some serious political chess, a big shot from their crew snagged the Grand Secretary gig. He kept reading. Then he saw that his dad, his father-in-law, and even some friends were all telling him to get his butt back to the capital and take an official job. He started to waffle. Even though he was just a deputy here, man, he was genuinely happy. Ling Xujing spilled the tea to his wife about everything. Then he's like, look, I'm super happy, but honestly, after being out here this long, I'm not exactly feeling great about the Imperial Court. I don't think Grand Secretary Lai can fix this mess. It would be different if it was Mr. Lin. So, yeah, I think we re good right where we are. Mrs. Lin just nods, excuses herself, and then makes a beeline for Beehai. So the husband, he's gone full psycho, right? Like, he doesn't even want that fancy official job anymore. This guy's turning into a total Master Lin clone. Fast forward half an hour, and boom, you show up. It's been ages since you visited, so this definitely caught them off guard. The question is thrown out, Mr. Lin, what brings you here? And our boy Ling Xuijing lays it out. He heard from the wife. He's got ideas. He wants to be the prefect of Qingjiang. And yeah, military power too. The catch. Double this year's taxes, and then 3 years from now he's got to cough up over 80,000 taels annually. Big ask. Ling Xuijing's thinking the court will totally go for it. The dude's so shocked he sits bolt upright. Mr. Lin, is this even a thing? Last year Qingjiang Prefecture only pulled in 22,000 taels, and Lin Xuijing's like, don't even sweat it. If we reshort, I'll cover it. Worst case, I'll just whip up another Immortals brew. Easy peasy. Gotta give it to his dad and father-in-law. They were seriously on the ball. Less than a month later, bam. Lin Xuijing's new gig shows up in Taoyuan town via express horse. And with it, the official seal. Beehai sees his chance and pipes up. Since you're rehandling both military and political stuff, sir, how about Mingwu and his crew tag along? To sort out the military, and Miaoyan can get some experience too. Miaoyan, this girl's been his ride or die partner for over a year, and Lin Xuijing is super into her. He totally sees her skills, so yeah, he's down. 3 days later, Ling Xuijing's on the road. The day after he rolls into the prefecture, he's getting invitations. A whole crew of officials, including his second in command, the vice prefect, plus some big, shot locals and rich merchants, want a party at the swankiest joint in town. Lin Shujing's game, bringing Miaoyan and Mingqing. But get this, he bounces after just a quick hello. He leaves Miaoyan to handle the mess. And you are not going to believe this, but the second she steps in, she blows past the target in 3 days, shaking down these local officials for hundreds of thousands of taels. Not only does she nail this year's quota, but Lin Shujing's also taking notes from Cakesu village. He starts planting sweet potatoes, just to make sure nobody goes hungry. Meanwhile, back at Cakesu village, with Lin Shujing holding down the fort up top, you straight up open a bank in Qingyang prefecture. So, to really get this banking thing off the ground and make it easy for merchants everywhere, our boy dropped some serious cash to get a brand new 10,000 yuan bill designed. This thing was sleek, all black, and built to last. Yeah, not many people were taking it yet, but he wasn't stressed. This was just phase 1, laying down the foundation for the bank. Once the main bank was solid, branches would pop up everywhere. It was only a matter of time. But then, disaster struck. Again. This year was absolutely brutal, with refugees rising up everywhere. Harvest season was coming, but the yields were terrible in some spots, and remember last year, that was already a bust. People were starving, so they started rioting. And the court, they decided to crank up taxes and force conscription to fight the Manchu up north. Yeah, that went exactly how you'd expect, total meltdown. War broke out across the land, the Ming King showed up, and the whole world just lost its mind. Those massive refugee groups from the west last year, they were back. They were on a rampage, pushing east and north. The emperor, seeing his capital was about to fall, packed his bags and booked it south with his inner circle. Luckily, Miaoyan had called for backup from Cakesu village way ahead of time. The wolf cavalry rolled in and sent those refugees packing. They saved Qingyang's food supply. Then, the autumn harvest started, and man, was it good. Blew everyone away. 30,000 mu of land yielded over 100 million jin of sweet potatoes. Miaoyan kept her word. She gave 500 jin to each of the 5,000 households, enough to feed them for a year. Then she told them to plant more autumn crops, and kept giving them money and grain. The people who got all this, they were super grateful to the prefect. But what they didn't know, that was just a tiny fraction of the actual harvest. The rest got sold off for a low price, 4 wen per jin, and still pulled in a massive 400,000 taels of silver. That's way more than the 80,000 taels Lin Shujing promised the emperor. Oh, and the emperor, he just fled south to Lujin. Our guy sent the 80,000 taels to Lujin. Soon after, Lin Shujing got a promotion to a 4th rank official. While the world outside was burning, Qingyang prefecture was chill, stable, and thriving. People were pouring through the main gate, because the prefect had made a huge announcement. No taxes this year, he said. Everyone could just owe them. And get this, they wouldn't even be the court's insane 60 rate. Instead, it'd only be 30, all thanks to that crazy sweet potato harvest. Lin Shujing got the local areas to trade sweet potatoes for other grains. See, these sweet potatoes were cheap, like regular coarse grains, and actually tasted better because of the sugar. But they also went bad fast. So, trading them for other, storable grains was a smart move, and the common folk, they were totally on board with this. This whole sweet potato swapping, plus selling some off to nearby prefectures, eventually stacked up a massive 80 million jin of reserve grain for the city. On top of that, they had 100,000 taels of reserve silver. Now this cash, that was strictly for building up Qingyang prefecture. The emperor wasn't seeing a single coin of it. But then, out of nowhere, 2 unexpected guests rolled into Qingyang prefecture. One day, a whole caravan of carriages showed up at the city gates. The city guards, naturally, stepped up to ask who the hell they were. My master, he's your prefect's father. The guards heard that, and I mean, they scrambled to clear the gate, waving the crowd aside for the carriages to pass. And just like that, the entourage rolled into the city. From the carriage windows, an old man's head popped out. Old Lin, he said, Shujing has done a fantastic job running this place. The streets are spotless, not even a whiff of anything nasty. Yeah, it looks like Shujing's really nailing this prefect thing. No wonder he can send 80,000 taels in tax silver to his majesty. Just look at the people on the streets, everyone's buzzing, laughing constantly. This is genuinely rare. I totally underestimated him before. With his usual temperament, I figured he'd be lucky to hit prefect. But now, bro's future is looking bright. Exactly. If Shujing keeps this up, once his majesty gets past this whole crisis, he's definitely getting a promotion and some serious responsibilities. He could even become Grand Secretary someday, a legendary prime minister. Soon enough, the carriages pulled up to the Yamen. Lin Shujing, already briefed, was waiting for them. Attendants helped the 2 old men out of the carriages. Our boy stepped forward, his voice thick with emotion. Shujing greets father-in-law. After a quick round of pleasantries, he led his 2 fathers inside. Miaoyan and Mingqing were chilling in the main hall. Ling Suijing wasted no time introducing them. Father-in-law, these are the subordinates of Mr. Lin, that expert I told you about in my letter. Father Lin just gave the young girls and boys a dismissive look. He snorted full of contempt. What expert? If he's got these so-called heaven-defying abilities but isn't loyal to the emperor or serving the country. That guy's got no ruler, no father, no loyalty, no righteousness. Shameless and immoral, I tell you. The second Father Lin opened his mouth, Ling Suijing and his wife knew they were cooked. Before they could even try to stop him, Miaoyan, just standing there, let out a loud curse. Mingqing and the others, they straight up drew their swords. If it wasn't for Lin Suijing and Mrs. Lin. So, standing there blocking them, these two old dudes probably wouldn't have made it through the day. And yeah, this whole mess totally blew up the relationship between Miaoyan and the Lin family. Once they heard about it, it was clear Miaoyan and the crew couldn't stay put anymore. After some serious chin-wagging, they decided Ruyan was the one to send. Fast forward a few days, and Ruyan rolls up to the prefectural city with her entourage. Lin Suijing, Miaoyan, and Mingqing are all there to greet them. The second they see each other, Miaoyan just lunges for Ruyan. She's got this little pout on her face, feeling all kinds of wronged, you know. Ruyan has to hug and comfort her for a solid chunk of time before Miaoyan finally calms down. Ruyan actually wanted to pay a proper visit to the two old masters. But get this, after hearing about your little escapade. They were dead set on marching over to Taoyuan town to throw down with you. But you were busy building your empire, so who had time for their drama? Then comes the big year, Shindig for Taoyuan town, and just as the meeting's wrapping up, you burst in. Alright everyone, got a few things to lay on ya. First off, huge thanks for all the grind over these past few years. You guys have built us a pretty sweet, peaceful home. So to show my appreciation, everyone's getting a raise? From now on, top-tier workers are pulling in 2 yuan a day. And it ain't just for the bosses, everyone gets a bump. We were talking a solid 50 increase across the board. Oh, and for anyone rocking a graduation certificate, that's an extra 40 cents a day. Bihai chilling on the side just nods along. This wasn't some spur of the moment thing, the higher ups had already ironed out the details. You keep going now for the real kicker. Taoyuan town, bless its heart, is just too small. The growth potential here is capped, like maybe 20 to 30,000 people max, so I'm planning a big move. We're rebuilding a whole new city. And before anyone could even process that, already heading to the back. You stride over to a map of the provincial capital on the wall, a black and white thing, and point to a spot. Gotta take it one step at a time, right? This place right here. I like it. It's in Linjiang Prefecture, about 200 li away, right on the edge of this massive river. It's settled. You guys can hash out the construction details later, I'm out. With that you bounce, leaving everyone staring. Once you re-gone, Beihai takes the mic. She calmly states, the master has spoken. Let's figure out how to build this thing. And even though nobody piped up to disagree, everyone's head was kind of spinning. See, back then, people were all about that stable, predictable life. But you, with your transmigrator brain, weren't having it. Taoyuan town. Yeah, it's fine, but the surrounding area is seriously lacking. It's out in the sticks. Pretty much, with hardly anyone around, zero resources to speak of, and a total nightmare to get to. This town. Yeah, it's got zero chance of becoming a real city, not even close. Like, it takes centuries, maybe even 100 years of grinding, to even start looking decent. But who has that kind of time? Right? So when our guy finally got his hands on that sweet cement from the system, he was like, alright, let's get this relocation party started. And then Bihai rolls up. She drops a plate of fruit on his desk, all casual like, Bihai, check out this city plan, what do you think? Bihai grabs the blueprint, squints at it, and it's looking super familiar, no joke. She digs through her wallet, pulls out a 1 yuan coin, and bam. There it is, a bird's eye view of some epic city. Master, you totally planned this out. She gushes. Are we actually building that city? Just picturing it is wild, she adds. Yeah, that's the dream, he confirms. It's just, we got the cement now, but the tech ain't quite there yet. We gotta take it slow. What you re-holding is the big picture, the future. These little sheets, those are the micro plans for the interior. Go, make it happen. So, cement in hand, construction kicked off. And this stuff, it blew everyone's minds. You just add water, pour it out, and boom. A few days later, it's harder than a rock. The plan was to start with roads and walls, get some practice in, pave all the roads around town, then connect the 3 main spots with cement highways. Big project, though. This was gonna take a serious chunk of time. Before they knew it, another year was done. That's 4 years in the ancient world now. The folks in Taoyuan town, they had a killer new year. But everywhere else, not so much. The emperor got yeeted out of the capital. He didn't just lose a city, man, he lost the people. The Ming king swooped in, took the capital, and declared himself emperor before the year even ended. That's rough. But other places were not doing so well. The emperor was driven out of the capital. What he lost was not just a city, but also the hearts of the people. The Ming king occupied the capital and proclaimed himself emperor before the year's end. And that's when everyone else saw it and was like, wait, are these dudes just born kings? And boom, the whole place just lit up with war. Seriously, anyone who grabbed even a little bit of land was suddenly like, I'm the emperor now. Like suddenly there were over a dozen emperors running around. Peak dynasty ending vibes, no joke. All the big shots were just watching this unfold. So, you decided to build a whole new city, right? You paid the system to pick a spot, and you named it Dragon City. This place had this dope central axis, and feng shui-wise it was already solid enough to be a capital. Once you locked that down, this massive convoy of carriages started rolling back and forth between Dragon City and Taoyuan Town. Their whole job was just hauling supplies. And get this, there were like 60 plus dudes in full iron armor in the mix. Even the horses were rocking battle armor. The wolf cavalry rolled out to escort this whole thing. Our boy Ling Chen spent half a day just comparing options before he finally picked the spot you gave him. Then he had Wang Changjiang, who was with him, take the best construction crew from Taoyuan Town and get to work. While Dragon City was going full speed on construction, Taoyuan Town was cooking up a whole new plan. More and more people were lining up at the bank, swapping silver for paper money. The home stash of silver was piling up like actual mountains. Plus, Taoyuan Town just hit 20,000 people. But you weren't feeling that growth rate now. So, you decided to dump that cash into grabbing more people, faster. You used the system to find spots in, like, 10 pretty decent towns in Qingjiang Prefecture. You pim yourself, then went nuts buying land, hiring builders, and getting the farming going. Your plan, build 10 more towns all close by. Got people working on them, and boom, it was time for you to leave. And man, a lot of people in Taoyuan Town were straight up crying that day. Pretty much everyone came out of their homes, lining the main drag, watching this massive convoy roll by. Honey, I want to go to Dragon City and keep working for the master. If you want to go, then go. Everything here is good now. Honestly, I want to go too. But I'm still at the textile factory. That's also the master's gig, and they re-swamped right now, so I can't dip. You get over there, get settled, and then you can bring us all over. Deal. Don't you worry, I will get you over here soon. And when I do, I will make sure someone's writing you back every few days. Yeah, lots of folks here can write letters now, so you can just have a goo next door read, to ya. Sounds good. And don't stress about home, okay? Just 'cause the master's gone doesn't mean he's forgotten about this place. This is still the master's turf, man, like, the safest spot on earth. I know, but I will get you over ASAP. Oh, and hey, our oldest is getting on in years, maybe we should send him to be a soldier for the master. Seriously, it's his good luck to even get to risk his life for the master. Even if something bad happens, I won't blame him. Honestly, without the master, our whole family would have been toast back then. Alright then. So let's do it. I heard the wolf cavalry's treatment is insane. If our eldest can make it back alive, that's a massive fortune. And you saw this kind of scene playing out everywhere. Families getting split up. But get this, almost nobody was crying. Like people were actually smiling. Taoyuan Town only had about 10,000 people, and you just packed up 1,000 of them straight away. Then another 3,000 signed up to go with you later. So in just a few days, Taoyuan Town was basically half empty, and rents even started dropping like crazy. But the folks who stayed behind, they were good. For the average person, Taoyuan Town was already way better than the county town, and fresh blood kept pouring in. Meanwhile, Mingqing and his crew were busy hiring locals, and those 10 new villages and towns were popping up like mushrooms. People just kept flooding in through the gates, and life was looking more and more hopeful. But out on the Central Plains, besides these guys, nobody else was having an easy time. The hungry wolves from the north had officially arrived. They just wanted to plunder. But the Ming king, who just crowned himself emperor, freaked out and bolted, handing over the capital like it was nothing. The northern gate was in a bind, but after weighing their options, they rolled into Beijing. And when the people in Beijing heard the Manchus were coming, anyone who could run ran. So the Manchus walked into an empty city. The original emperor was still chilling in Lujing, but then get this, Governor Lin and General Wen a few days later actually brought the runaway emperor all the way to Dragon City. Turns out, the Ming emperor's top troops pulled off a surprise attack just days before. So the emperor's army gets totally blindsided, right? Scattered everywhere. And get this, on their way out, they stumble right into Governor Lin and Governor General Wen. Now, The emperor's decided he's done with all that. He's gonna become a monk, even got himself a dharma name, Wukong. And Governor Lin, even though he knew this dragon city was crawling with shady characters, he wasn't about to spill the beans on where his majesty was hiding. But late that night, Lin Shujing sneaks over to spill the tea to you. Heard the emperor bailed and ended up at your place. You immediately hit up Beihai, Ruyan, and the crew. You all head over, and when you get to Lin Shujing's pad, you see Governor Lin holding out a bowl, practically begging the emperor to just take a bite. And yeah, the emperor's ditched the dragon robes for some plain old rags. He's just chilling cross-legged on a cushion, mumbling to himself, totally ignoring Governor Lin. So you just slide in opposite him. Emperor, your real name's like Swanji, man. Why Wukong? Why not Beiji? Say something. But the emperor's still silent. So you switch gears. Try to see if he's actually over it. Alright, you know what? I'm feeling good today, so I'll answer your questions. Ask whatever. I'm basically the smartest dude on the planet. Anyone else would be tripping over themselves, but this emperor, he's totally checked out, like he's got zero desire for this world. This is your shot, man. Clear up all the mysteries, like if this buddy you all about is even real, or why your whole empire went belly up. What was the real reason it collapsed? And that's what it takes. The emperor stops his chanting. He's finally interested. What was it, ha? Guess you haven't let go of everything after all. This whole great enlightenment thing, it's fake. How? I need to know. Then you tell me first. Are there people out there who don't age and die? Probably not. Exactly, a dynasty's just like a person. No one lives forever, so no empire lasts forever either. And dynasties usually don't fall for just one reason. You got natural disasters, people messing things up, enemies attacking, weak rulers, all that. Any one of those is tough, but they can totally snowball. So let's talk about your dynasty. The official numbers say about 50 million people, but I bet it was way more. The real population was probably closer to 150 million. So you were taxing 50 million people to pay for 3 times that many. Big yikes. You go on for a solid half hour, breaking down all the hidden problems. And finally, you hit him with the real reason his kingdom went down. The fall of your empire was mostly cause of insane land hoarding and a massive secret population. That meant the few commoners you were taxing were getting crushed, and it just wasn't enough to keep that giant empire afloat. It was already on the brink. So, the constant attacks from the north were just draining the country dry, and even though the natural disasters weren't that bad, they were the final nail in the coffin. So you re-saying the kingdom falling wasn't even my fault. Honestly, yeah. At worst, you were incompetent, but probably not a tyrant. Thanks for the enlightenment, sir. Xwanji is forever grateful. You were welcome. In my eyes, you were just some regular dude who got shoved into a corner, a real unlucky guy. I'm not interested anymore. Let's bounce. You got up to leave, but then had a thought and tossed an idea to the former emperor. Dude, you were an emperor. Becoming a monk feels like a total waste. Why not stick around and work for me? Experience life as a regular person. We ain't like other places. Most common folk out there are struggling hard. Here, we reliving way better lives. Like Swanji, who was already feeling pretty down about his future. Perked up after hearing your take on his country, and got super curious about the village you built. He suddenly wanted to see what made these people different. So he nodded, super thankful. Then Swanji, thanks you, sir. Bihai, get him some small tasks. Yes, master. The very next day, the emperor started his new life, just like he promised. Miaoyan basically took him under her wing, giving him a crash course in everyday knowledge. She even cooked up a fake identity for him, and got him into the super popular public security team. Like Swanji slowly but surely became a seasoned pro. Then months later, he came home from work and saw his front door was wide open. His brow immediately furrowed. He pushed the door open and walked in, only to find this plainly dressed woman. But her vibe and beauty were totally undeniable. She was kinda awkwardly mopping the floor. Empress, husband, you re-home. What are you doing here? It doesn't matter if you re-still the emperor or not, I'm still your wife. I was raised on the whole 3 obediences and 4 virtues thing. I totally get the whole wife follows husband thing. It's actually pretty chill now, not having to stress about anything. I used to be stressed about the whole country every single day. Now let's just live our own little peaceful life. Like Swanji's nose suddenly felt all tingly. He stepped forward and pulled his wife into a hug. With the emperor sorted in your dragon city, you were also fired up to develop this place. Once the resident population hit 50,000, the system unlocked the town level stuff, opening up tons of new items and giving you 1 free lottery spin. You practically leaped out of bed. What are we waiting for? I want a spin! I want a spin. Congrats on drawing the full basic electricity tech set. Related purchase options are now unlocked. You were dancing around like crazy when the system message popped up. The girls heard the ruckus and came running. They thought you'd lost your mind. Master, what's wrong? Don't scare us! It's nothing! I'm just hyped. Listen up, your master just leveled up, and my magic power is through the roof. So, our boy, without even a word, just bolts to the first floor, ready to drop some serious loot. One flick of the wrist, and boom, this giant dude pops into existence. Then, another flick, and a pile of light bulbs hits the floor. And then get this, a whole barrel of oil appears right in front of him. He pours it in, cranks the handle, holds up a bulb, yells, "Let there be light!" And bam, the whole dang hall lights up. Everyone's just staring, jaws on the floor. Did the master just steal the sun? So is the master awesome or what? Master's awesome. Master's awesome. Gramps, can I play with the sun? Nah, kid, this thing's scorching. Gotta hold it like this. These folks had never seen anything like this glowing orb. They stayed up all night, messing with their mini sun. Once our guy saw they were actually getting the hang of it, he dips out, feeling pretty good. Basic electricity. Check. Yeah, these generators were pricey, and the bulbs weren't cheap, and the electricity itself was like $2 a kilowatt hour. But the next day, he's already calling in the crew to start construction at the Lynn estate. That night, the whole place was lit up like a stadium. After that, he's cashing in for a mountain of generators, bulbs, wires, and oil. The plan. Roll 'em out in stages, starting with the government buildings, police station, and key businesses. Batch by batch, you know. Then the towns, the new ones, they all need some juice too, right? He's crunching numbers. And he's just numb. Turns out his millions aren't gonna cut it. He's gonna need way more cash. Thinking about it, he grits his teeth. Alright, Beihai, 100 generators, that's it. You handle the distribution. No exceptions. I'm getting the best guys on this. We gotta build more generators ASAP. If this keeps up, the master's magic juice is gonna run dry. Before you know it, it's harvest time in Keiksu village. And on this day, the whole village, pretty much every family, young and old, hits the fields to snag sweet potatoes. A single day of this work is worth like a week's pay normal. Some of these guys are grinding so hard, they're remaking bank. And it's not just the locals. Even the rich city folks slumming it are getting in on the action. This ain't just harvest day anymore. It's basically a national festival. Laughter and good vibes everywhere. So our boy Xwanji looks around, sees this whole booming scene. He's like, man, if only our place looked like this, that'd be sweet. Cause, no joke, besides the villages he built, everywhere else was either a disaster zone, or just had a terrible harvest this year. Only those sweet potatoes he planted went off, like huge harvest. All thanks to him dropping serious cash to buy land, and pay people to whip that wasteland into shape. We were talking like 300 million jin of sweet potatoes, enough to feed nearly 1 million people. This massive sweet potato haul legit made the grain prices in the area crash. The common folk still made the same cash. But now they could actually buy way more food. Meat and eggs got cheaper too, setting off this awesome positive cycle. A few days after the harvest, everyone's back to their normal grind. It's another late afternoon at the Lin estate, which is usually the most hype time. All 34 Lin family members chilling together. Myoin's doing this cute head tilt, hands all fancy like, pressing against her temples. She's dramatically asking, Jade Emperor, oh Jade Emperor, why are your eyes empty and you won't even look at me? This had everyone cracking up, food flying everywhere. Turns out, to boost the whole vibe and culture in his territory, he dropped a ton of cash in the system to snag the rights to the full, easy to understand Journey to the West. He bought 1,000 copies, opened a bookstore, and bam, Journey to the West became the hottest thing in the city in like, days. Looks like the culture scene is poppin'. Gonna drop more books soon, he's thinking. Since his village unlocked the town system, he's gunning for that city system, which needs 1 million people. So, gotta boost the population. And the fastest way to do that. Prisoners, obviously. Not long after, a whole sad-looking crew rolls up to Dragon City. He had Mingwei drop 10 taels of silver a head to buy 743 of them from the Empire. Once they were stuffed, they got sent to the massive bathhouse to get cleaned up. Heads shaved, fresh threads on, looking sharp in clean prison uniforms. They were then shoved into 6-person dorms. The next day, over 2,000 of them are packed into the prison's huge square. The new prison warden, Liai Xwanji, steps up to the mic and lays out the prisoner assessment rules our guy set. Because these guys are special. Their assessment is a whole year, way longer than the 3 months for regular folks. They get 10 points a day, and if they slack off, points get docked. More points means a better shot at getting out early. Plus, these points can be traded for cash, like 10 cents per point. So get this, they can actually use this studying thing to make their prison life better. If they read good boys and perform well, They can even get their sentences chopped and earn points. And get this, studying can straight up shave time off your sentence. Get an elementary school diploma and bam, 2 years just gone. The other inmates were shook, absolutely floored by these rules. This is exactly the vibe you want, right? Hope can make people better, but no hope. That's how you get depraved. You need people with hope, not just a bunch of degenerate freaks. You rethinking, with a little nudge, these guys can totally turn their lives around. And Dragon City's been blowing up this year, seriously. Their silver stash is overflowing, and all these new factories are pumping out insane profits. Good harvests every year means more food than they know what to do with. They're even turning it into feed, no joke. So at the big annual government meeting you rehosting, they boosted the salaries for civil servants and the Lin family businesses by a massive 50. Top-tier workers are now pulling in 3 yuan a day. And when civil servant pay goes up, it means the everyday folks gotta get paid more too. Regular laborers are now making 2 yuan a day. Plus, they threw in an education subsidy. It's not as much, but it's still an extra 50 cents a day. So yeah, everyone's guaranteed to make a living. But as Dragon City gets stronger, everyone outside gets super jealous. Then out of nowhere, Dragon City gets hit with this crazy rain and snow. District Chief Lin Beihai was out with the government crew, checking out some neighborhoods. And then boom, dozens of tough guys just jump. Nobody saw it coming. A few people died and a bunch more got messed up. But the real kicker. District Chief Beihai took an arrow, and not just any arrow, it was laced with poison. The cops put out an emergency alert, a city-wide sweep for any remaining assassins and spies. They nabbed over 100 people, but it turned out they were all just pawns. These guys were all sent by these local emperors to gather intel. Master, they confirm they were sent by the northern barbarians. The original target was you, Master, but you were always so hard to pin down. They never got their chance, so they went after Beihai. They figured a quick decapitation strike would plunge Dragon City into chaos and a power struggle free for all. First things first, kill all those assassins. This time, security totally dropped the ball. Demote them all. Make sure the families of the dead and injured get compensated and taken care of. And for those northern barbarians, Mingwei, grab 2 battalions and head north. I want the heads of 10,000 of them. Yes, Master. And then bring Aguda back to me. If we don't have enough guys, expand the army by 2 battalions. If that's not enough, then 10 battalions. If even 10 isn't enough, then make it 100 for me. I've got cash for days. All I want is one outcome. I want that Aguda kneeling before Beihai, begging for forgiveness. The news about Beihai's assassination attempt spread like wildfire through Dragon City in like half a day. The whole city was furious. The public security office, from the top brass all the way down, went on full alert. They locked down the area, hunting for those assassins. Meanwhile, over on the North Shore, a bunch of massive warships were pulled up. 1,000 fully geared, up knights hopped off their horses. So they split up, right? Like dozens of little squads, about 30 guys each, and just scattered everywhere. The 1,000 guys left behind. They were busy setting up defenses, unloading all the gear from the ships. Word started spreading fast, the Wolf Cavalry was going to war with these barbarians. And they had one mission: snag the emperor of the biggest empire out there, and drag him back to Dragon City. This was going to be a brutal, long haul, but your family, they didn't even flinch. Now, this time you were sending a message to the whole world, loud and clear: mess with the Lin family. You were gonna regret it. Then came another order: bring the civilians back too. So, the Wolf Cavalry sent out another crew. They rolled into a village, grand entrance. And just like that, half a day later, they were gone, with everyone from the village. They all ended up at this White Tiger City place that was still being built. Down below the city walls, some other folks took over the villagers. These people got set up in these 3-story buildings, all neat and tidy. They even got food and a place to sleep, which, nice. And get this, the brand new city had plumbing in every building. Wild. The common folk, man, they couldn't believe it. Captured. But living better than they probably ever did. Meanwhile, the Wolf Cavalry kept on their rampage, hitting town after town, chopping off heads left and right, scaring more and more barbarians into ditching and hiding in the big cities. And the Wolf Cavalry, they were getting stronger. You told M to grow the ranks, train on the spot. Armor, weapons, it was all shipping in, but they were making it so fast, they couldn't even keep up. Alright, you said, put more guys in the steel plants. Drop whatever else you remaking, focus all energy on weapons and gear. Big battle was coming. Then 3,000 Wolf Cavalry like a flood hit a massive army of 10,000 barbarians and 10,000 Han Chinese. The Wolf Cavalry went straight for the barbarians, and that whole army just crumbled. Aguda's top general, Talamu, saw what was happening, whipped out his scimitar, and yelled, "These Han guys are useless. Let's go, brothers, kill 'em all. Soon, even the barbarian cavalry broke. Mingwu was on their tail shouting, chase them down, kill the Manchu. After a whole day of brutal fighting, 6,000 of those 10,000 barbarian soldiers were either dead or captured. The rest ran. But you were still short 2,000 heads from your 10,000 goal. Gotta keep going. And word got out, right? That over half of Talamu's 10,000 dudes just got wiped out. That absolutely freaked out the other barbarians. No joke. So the other two generals, they meet up. But they still shook. They decide to just bail and hide in some fortified city nearby. Then, get this, Talamu's head and a letter get sent to the capital. And the letter's just dripping with sass, calling them savage, rude, and filthy barbarians. It's like, how dare you mess with our glorious farms? Who gave you the nerve? Then they drop the Mekwi, retaking 10,000 heads as a lesson for you. And the kicker. That stupid pig Aguda has to personally go to Dragon City and Grovel to District Chief Lin Bei Hai. Talk about a power move. This whole thing has some dude named Minxing absolutely fuming, like I'm gonna lead the charge and tear him apart. But plot twist, this was all part of his plan. And wouldn't you know it, 2 weeks later, the wolf cavalry accidentally let their position slip. They basically lured Aguda into a trap, and he rolls up with 80,000 troops to White Tiger City. But when everyone, including Aguda, sees these cement walls, way taller than the Great Wall, they just stunned. Whoa. Aguda's Your Majesty, how are we supposed to get over that? Then he starts to say, don't we have city gates? And bam! The massive gate just falls. And out floods this cavalry charge. 5,000 wolf cavalry unleash this volley of arrows, like a black cloud. Aguda's face is white as a ghost, he's shaking, but he's still standing there. Even facing death, the dude's stubborn. But eventually, they just drug him. They tossed him on the fastest boat to Dragon City. And Minxing and the crew have a wow about what's next for White Tiger City. The goal's met, but now they've got 10,000 people here they can't just ditch. So they decide Mingwei stays to command the army. And they'll find a sibling to handle the civilian stuff. With White Tiger City, the population hits 100,000, and you get another town-level lottery chance. You rehyped give me car info? I want cars. And boom, you get car tech added to the purchase list. Haha, I got cars. I got cars. You check the list, and yeah, there are cars you can actually buy. So you head to the courtyard. You wave your hand, and you refloored this van-looking thing just appears. So this car. Yeah, it's ugly and the wheels are huge, this thing's older than my grandpa. You took $1 million from me and gave me this beggar, tier van. But hey, in this dynasty, just seeing a car is something, right? At least now you're officially a car owner. Big flex. Couldn't wait to hop in. Thankfully you'd already unlocked that sweet electricity tech. So no hand cranking this beast. Okay system, I'll give you props for the electric start. But the giant wheels, to handle this era's roads. Just then, Baihai and Ruin poke their heads out. Master, what is that? Did you build a metal house? Get in, ladies, I'm taking you for a joyride. They had no clue what was going on. But the master said to get in, so they did. The suave gentleman opened the doors for them. Once they were all settled, they were just staring at this metal box, Master, this little house has wheels! Is it pulled by horses? Where's the big one? Now the big ones are trucks, cost 5 mil each, I'm broke. It moves on its own, no horses, buckle up, we relieving. You turn the key, give the pedal a little tap, and the van just starts. Master, this little house is moving by itself. Yeah, you didn't notice. You cruise around the courtyard, and the whole Lin estate comes running out. After 2 laps, you still not impressed. Alright, let's grab Sai and Maoyan from work, then hit the highway. And with that, you blast out of the compound, scaring half the town. Luckily, the Wolf Riders were right behind, clearing the path. The regular folk who saw this chaos unfold were screaming, the master's been eaten by a monster. The Wolf Riders are chasing it. Meanwhile, Sai and Maoyan were at the Senate. They heard this crazy noise and peeked out, saw you waving from a weird little metal box. Quick glance at each other, and they bolt downstairs. Got anything important today? If not, I'm taking you for a spin. See mine, hop in. This car is a blast. The girls get in, totally bewildered. Once it starts rolling, they blown away. Master, this little house actually moves on its own. Waha, moving is just the start. We going out of town, I will show you speed and passion. Okay, so our boy here had this massive road construction project way back when, right? Paved all these roads between villages. Turns out, that was a genius move. So he's like, yo girls wanna ditch this place, grab dinner back in Keiksu village, and then bounce. They're dinner in Toyo in town, we gonna make it back in time? And he's all, don't sweat it, and just slams on the gas. He yeets this thing forward, leaving the whole cavalry in the dust. The girls are freaking out, whoa, master, this is insane. This is wild. Master, this speed is insane. Way faster than a horse. How far can this thing go? What does it even eat? So he breaks it down. A horse is like 20 clicks an hour, maybe 200 day if they push it, but not for long. This beast, 100 clicks an hour, 5 times faster, and it can go 24/7. Only downside, bad roads slow it down and mess with the ride. So that's like, what, 5,000 lie a day? They re-blown away, dude. If the whole world had our cement roads, we'd be at the capital in like, a day! And he's like, yep, you got it. They roll up, and Bihai is still processing, then looks up and realizes they were already at Keiksu village. She just blurts out, oh my god, that was too fast. Meanwhile, this old lady at the entrance of Toyuan town sees this massive metal beast roaring in and totally freaks, falling over. It's not until someone steps out, and she's like, is that town chief Bihai? Bihai's like, Grandma Wu, my bad! Didn't mean to scare you. Just brought master to apologize. Grandma Wu, so sorry I scared you. Got too hyped and forgot to slow down. Seeing Grandma Wu is okay, our boy hops back in the car. He takes Bihai and the crew to this restaurant they used to hit up all the time. Where gets out the master's back, and the whole town crowds the restaurant door just to get a peek. This alerts the town chief, Ling Youngswan, who rushes over like, Master. Here. Sorry, your wedding at the end of last year was crazy busy. Couldn't make it. Master, your gift was more than enough. I was already super happy. The gift made a ton of people jealous. So they chow down in Toyuan town, then swing by the old Lin estate. As it's getting dark, the whole crew heads back to the farm, buzzing. That kind of speed. Nobody could have even dreamed of it before. The folks in the car are still spinning. I can't believe we actually went to Toyuan town. I'm so dizzy, this feels unreal. Master, can you teach me to drive tomorrow? Sure, I will teach everyone tomorrow. Then we'll get some drivers trained up. We will have tons of cars later. Anyone who needs one can have one. Or just grab a driver if you don't want to steer. So many. Master, I want my own. Master, me too. 2. Alright, settle down. You 4 get one each for now. Eventually, everyone's getting a ride. So the next day, he buys a few more cars and starts the lessons. Once they kinda get the hang of it, he lets them practice on their own. Then, he has everyone recommend people to learn, so they can train up a whole crew of drivers. So this job, it wasn't exactly rocket science, but you needed someone solid, someone loyal, so you threw double the usual pay at the driver salary, insane, like twice the top tier rate. Word got out to the regular folks, and they were all buzzing, saying the master totally took down some massive beast, and was now riding it. Then one day, like Swanji hears some noise downstairs. He cracks open the window, and sees Myoian waving him down. Myoian, what's up? Everything okay? She taps the car. My cousin-in-law and I are taking Uncle Lin to go clothes shopping this afternoon. Wanna roll with us? Like Swanji was the prison warden now, so his gig wasn't as mind-numbing. Plus, he'd been itching to check out what secrets were hidden inside this legendary beast the master supposedly tamed. He was in, yeah, let's go! Once he's in the car, he's touching everything. Whoa, so this is the master's ride. Is this thing actually alive? Haha, you re so funny. Obviously not alive, this is a car. And it's not the master's, it's mine, a gift from him. No way you re just helping Uncle Lin pick out clothes, you re totally flexing. He busted. But hey, if you ever need anything, you can borrow my ride. Deal, thanks in advance. Myoian, driving a bit shaky, pulls out onto the main road. The car cruises over to the Taoyuan hotel, and Myoian lays on the horn a few times. Cousin-in-law, Uncle Lin, hop in! Uncle Li Lin, seeing this giant metal box for the first, was a mix of curious and kinda scared. Especially hearing it was a monster the master subdued. Uncle Lin, no worries, the car doesn't bite. Little aunt, it really doesn't bite. Don't sweat it. If it tries, I'll rip it apart. Fast forward a few days, Aguda's been shipped off to Dragon City. He's on his knees, crying his eyes out, completely different from when he first saw Mingsing's letter. After a powwow, they decided on permanent exile. He'd live a good life, contribute to Dragon City's growth, and hopefully, anyone else with bad intentions would think twice. Meanwhile, Mingsing took 500 wolf cavalry to the capital. He hashed out some compensation details with those folks. An hour later, he left happy, having signed off on a deal with the capital. They agreed to cough up 100 hen Chinese over 3 years, plus 50,000 cattle and sheep every year for a decade, making the barbarians pay tribute for once. And get this, the new university in Dragon City, it's finished. Dragon City University, the world's first, officially opened its doors. They kicked things off with 8 departments: Chinese, math, physics, chemistry, electrical engineering, mechanical, agriculture, and military science. Even though your system only had middle school stuff, that didn't stop you from building the university. Since it's going to be super exclusive at first, they needed an entrance exam. Any elementary school grad could try. The university rolled out some 1-month prep classes. After that month, students would take a big test. The top 100 from each department, 800 students total, would get in. And you also hooked up the university students with some new perks. Alright, so if these folks actually got into university, they were looking at a level 1 wage subsidy like $3 a day, which yeah, not exactly breaking the bank. But here's the kicker, Longqing promised them a fat paycheck after graduation. This news. It blew up straight to the top of the trending charts. And get this, within Longqing's borders, over 100,000 people were hyped, with more than 20,000 signing up. But when everyone piled into these classrooms, they were met with a wild surprise as 0 teachers. This young dude walks in, arms full of papers, and just hands one to everyone. He's like, alright class, 5 per group, study this stuff. Exams in a month. Good luck. And then he bounces. Thankfully that month of prep flew by. And the results, exactly what you'd expect. On a 100-point test, barely anyone cracked 60, and an 80 was rarer than a unicorn. Once those acceptance letters went out, the official start date for the semester got locked in. Come school day, surprise, it was self-study sessions again. But hey, at least everyone was ready for it and hit the books hard. Meanwhile, Mingxing, who'd basically conned his way into being some big shot in the capital, had already landed on his feet. Then, bam! Urgent news hits the capital. Those red-haired devils from up north are attacking. And they're re-rolling up with some seriously heavy artillery. The war was no joke, super intense. So a bunch of the top dogs packed up with a massive 50,000-man army, leaving Mingxing and his fam to party in the capital. Right then, Longqing's her department gets intel from Mingxing. You read it, and honestly, no surprise. After a quick think, you tell Mingxing, yeah, we can't just chill anymore. We gotta start poking around. Get our people trained up faster, and start infiltrating all these different groups. Also, throw more cash at the shipyard. We might need more boats, maybe even some actual warships. And get those exploration teams out there, stat. We gotta get a handle on this world, you know. You got it, boss. And just like that, another harvest day rolls around. Longqing throws everyone another holiday to go harvest the crops together. This year though, way more little vendors popped up along the fields, slinging water, peanuts, sunflower seeds, the whole 9 yards. It felt less like a harvest and more like a festival. By this point, Longqing's population had already shot past 50,000, and Huixia's total numbers were crushing 150,000. Harvest done. It was time for the New Year Senate Assembly. Bihai, after chilling and recovering for over 6 months, was back in the game and stepping up. The Longqing Senate officially got the green light, basically mirroring the imperial court structure. The Longqing Senate dropped an 11th tier rank. With Bihai moving up, everyone else got a boost too. Saya, Miaoyan, Mingxing, and the crew all got promoted to deputy, mayor level, setting the standard for the 10th tier. And these 3 also snagged district head roles for Longzhong, Longdong, and Longxi. Their job, overseeing the construction of the new city areas. They were even starting on a Longnan district at the same time, which was pretty wild. Even though it was technically Emperor Ming's turf, construction had to kick off together. The district head for that one was Ling Youngswan, who'd just been transferred in. Longqing was about to go into overdrive. But just as Longqing finished integrating all the commoners they'd bought from the imperial court, and were ready to snag even more, some seriously bad news dropped. Prince Fu had crowned himself emperor, not only ditching the old deal, but also ordering Wen Jinren, Governor Lin, and Lin Shuijing to report to the new capital ASAP for reassignment. Plus, no more trading commoners. Beihai's quick thinking get the emperor to officially label Prince Fu a traitor, but also ordering Wen Jinren, Governor Lin, and Lin Shuijing to go to the new capital as soon as possible to report on their duties and be reassigned. He also forbade any further trading of commoners. Beihai directly came up with an idea: have the emperor issue an imperial decree defining Prince Fu as a rebellious traitor. So their whole game plan was basically grab as much land and people as they could. Worst case, a war. Longqing would back them up, no question. Hearing this, Wen Jinren was seriously impressed. He chatted with Governor Lin, then had a heart-to-heart with the Crown Prince. The Crown Prince, fired up, went straight to his dad, saying he wanted in on building Longqing. Xuanji was stoked and immediately started dropping imperial decrees like a boss. 3 in a row, calling Prince Fu a traitor and demanding he surrender and face the music in Longqing. Then bam! Prince Fu clapped back, and the whole world heard it. He straight up said his imperial brother was dead ages ago, and Longqing was the reason. The imperial court was all we, re-avenging our bro. And Longqing gotta go. Total shutdown, no negotiation. But no actual troops moved. The world was about to split. Then out of nowhere, steam ships popped up on the East Sea. This flea hit the docks, and you had these white and black workers unloading fairy grass and silver, loading up porcelain, silk, and other fancy stuff. They didn't just leave goods, they left a ton of silver. Trading with silver was already a pain, and with its value dropping, it was just getting messier. Lucky for everyone, Longqing saw this coming and had paper money ready. They'd already set up banks everywhere, and were about to hit the new capital. Longqing was already going hard on information. Every bit of news from those overseas merchants was sent straight back. You then flat out dumped the silver standard, making paper money its own thing. The Senate would set the exchange rate, no biggie. The second that dropped, silver tanked against paper, from 100 down to 1985. Some rich merchants freaked out and ran to the banks to cash out. Then, you dropped a fresh version of the currency. Building on the old design, you slapped on a bunch of Eastern vibes. To make it even easier, you added 3 smaller coins, 30 cents, 3 yuan, and 30 yuan. Suddenly, using money was way simpler, and people started calling it the Dragon Coin. But Longqing's growth was kinda capped, thanks to all these system limits. To bring in people, you needed 100 owned land, and you couldn't leave for long during checks. This meant Longqing's super fast growth hit some roadblocks. So, you decided to tackle it with the economy. Longqing sent official requests to both Prince Fu and Emperor Ming, asking to open banks in their lands. Crickets. Mingwei, though, just grabbed 2 wolf cavalry battalions and a massive crew, headed near the new capital, and started building like crazy a few miles out. They were pouring cement like it was water, and a whole town just sprung up before everyone's eyes. The 5-meter walls. Enough to stop most attackers. A mid-level official from the imperial court, gutsy as heck, went to see the general in charge. Mingwei met him. General of Longqing. A third-rank official from the imperial court bit the bullet, and came to request an audience with the general here. Mingwei met with him. General of Longqing. What is this nonsense? The official grumbled. And our boy Mingwei just hit him with it. It's nothing, just making things convenient for merchants, you know, a bank for everyone. But the official's like, hold up, His Majesty ain't okay with this Longqing bank in the new capital, so you gotta bounce. Mingwei just shrugged it off. Nah, I can't do that, man. He'd already sunk a crazy amount of cash into this spot. We were not leaving unless you pay us back for all this, he told the official, who just stood there, mouth agape at the number. Seeing Mingwei wasn't backing down, the official got all tough. If that's how you want to play it, General, we'll see. He huffed, storming off. Mingwei, though, was scratching his head, wondering why the court suddenly grew a pair. Like a few days later, the imperial court pulls a 20,000-man army from the riverbank, setting up a pincer move around the wolf cavalry's base. But then, bam. Horns blare from the wolf cavalry camp, totally catching the imperial army off guard. Next thing you know, the imperial side sounding their own horns, but by the time they re-ready, the wolf army charges like a freight train right at their left flank. You guys ain't scared of us anymore. Fine then, Mingwei said, let's show you what we got. With a yell, 2,000 crossbows unleash a volley that looks like a black dragon, just obliterating their new armor. Then they ride up to the capital walls, doing a victory lap. Half a day later, that same official who stormed off is back, pale as a ghost and shaking like a leaf. Okay, you win, he stammered. Build your bank. We won't even ask for battle damages this time. Mingwei's response. Just one thing, give us some land. We rebuilding a Barbican. Deal. The official squeaked. And just like that, the people of the new capital watched a cement building shoot up inside their own city. This 6-story beast. That's the Keksu Village Bank new capital branch. It's got everything, basically copying the Longqing setup, ready for like 10,000 people. And that big walled-off area. They're rebuilding a whole town there, Wangjing Town, for another 30,000 to 40,000. Even the street in the capital's getting its name, Keksu Street. And they already hiring. Wangjing Town was finally open for business, and they were hiring everyone, clothing stores, bathhouses, restaurants, you name it. 4 yuan a day, paid daily? And get this, stick around for 3 months. You snag a 200 yuan bonus. That's like a month and a half salary for free. These benefits were double what Longqing was offering, no joke. But then again, this place was absolutely booming, packed with half the richest people south of the river. So Jinyi and Jinyan really went all out to attract staff. 4 yuan a day was more than enough to tempt the common folks of the new capital. People started pouring into Wangjing Town, jumping into a whole new lifestyle and work routine. They needed about 4,000 to 5,000 workers, and the quota was filled in less than a month. Once those new hires settled in, Longqing started sending their own personnel to staff the new capital, slowly propping up its commercial street. Wangjing Town was massive, built for up to 30,000 residents, but only 4,000 or 5,000 were service staff. The rest, of the space was for everyone else. Keiksu Village Street, however, had half of its 10,000 capacity as service staff. It was basically a giant commercial hub. Day and night, it was meant to host new capital residents for sightseeing, entertainment, and shopping. It offered a one-stop experience for food, drinks, and fun, plus a few hotels. Then just a few days later, a massive plume of smoke shot up from a 30-meter smokestack. The Longqing power plant was finally online, running on coal. Our boy inspected the plant himself, giving everyone his stamp of approval and encouragement. All relevant personnel were awarded a bonus, anywhere from 1 to 3 months' salary. Watching those giant machines fire up and transmit electricity to Longqing, he was absolutely thrilled. See, the old system used market price diesel for those janky, inefficient machines, making a single kilowatt-hour cost 2 yuan. With coal power now, he was about to save a fortune. But just as our guy was happily doing the math, dreaming of all the diesel and money he'd save every day, Beihai swooped in. They transferred all 70 of Longqing's generators somewhere else, then asked him to keep that diesel coming, and maybe even increase the supply. Oh, and now dozens of cars needed gasoline. On top of that, Beihai requested 10 large trucks just to haul coal. That was another 50 million, plus even more endless diesel. Our boy was absolutely dumbfounded. He built a power plant to save money, but his expenses just went through the roof. Small cars burned gas, big trucks burned diesel. Calculating it all, his continuous spending hadn't decreased, it had shot up significantly. His little secret money stash. Yeah, that's cooked. So, crunching the numbers, you were feeling kinda numb, right? For being stuck with just diesel meant you couldn't power up half the places. But now, with this power plant boom, you can push electrical stuff on a massive scale. Even if it's just light bulbs for now, Longqing's one step closer to being that city that never sleeps. And get this, the electricity price just dropped from 2 yuan to a measly 50 cents. The whole city's scrambling to get their hands on electrical gear, and lights are finally showing up in thousands of homes. Plus, the Longqing Electric Power Company is officially a thing. This bad boy is going to be a major industry for Longqing down the road, no joke. Just days after the power plant's done, the streetlight project kicks off in Longqing. Before you know it, 2 streetlights are lighting up the main drag in Keiksu Village Street. Then, as night hits, all the bulbs flicker on at once, and everyone in Longqing is just shook. Master, that steam engine is pretty solid now, and it's all over the city. Should we sink more cash into it for deeper research? Nah, for now, what we got is enough. This is just one path, you know. Down the line, internal combustion engines are gonna be the big deal. But hey, if electrical stuff really takes off, that's the ultimate prize. Got it. So we will keep pushing the electrical development. Any word on oil yet? Still nothing. You just nod, a little bummed out. The system hasn't even unlocked oil resources, and I can't just buy up coordinates for easy shallow oil. We restuck searching everywhere manually. It's like finding a needle in a haystack. For real. The Longqing power plant is a win, and they were even building a smaller one in Keiksu Village town. Beihu City's also a solid stronghold under Longqing, and it's now pushing 30,000 people. These 3 power plants are plenty. Other spots just aren't cut out for it right now. With that in mind, you straight up order all 100 existing generators to get handed out. Way over in Keiksu Village Street, in the new capital, Jinyan is absolutely thrilled seeing a line of 5 generators. These things couldn't have come at a better time. As darkness falls, the entire new capital is pitch black, but Keiksu Village Street inside the walls is glowing faintly. A ton of nearby residents are super curious. They step out, gather some courage, and wander into Keiksu Village Street. What they see are a bunch of light bulbs, giving off a soft glow. It's way dimmer than daytime, sure, but it's enough to leave everyone totally stunned. Later that day, a room packed with over 20 people is buzzing, making it super lively. Everyone's hitting up the ladies for their housewarming. And for that, you whipped up a killer hot pot to celebrate. While you all digging in at the table, you suddenly tell Beihai to send out invites to a few parties, picking out 100 noble ladies with good reputations. Bring them to Dragon City for a little stay. They gotta be between 12 and 18. And no, it's not because you suddenly picking a consort. It's more like you worried about the young dudes in your family. After those 100 invites are sent out, so the word got out that Master Lin was looking to pick a spouse for his kid. And all the big factions were hyped about a marriage alliance with Dragon City. They basically scrambled to get gifts ready and sent their daughters off. And Dragon City even set up a whole villa district just to house these fancy ladies. Each one got her own massive courtyard, big enough for like 20-30 people, plus a monthly allowance of 1,000 yuan to blow. So over the next month, a ton of noble ladies rolled in, like 98 out of the 100 who were invited. Now it was up to the young dudes in Dragon City to try and snag one of these opportunities, and right after that, the big year-end meeting for the Council of Elders went down smooth. And then, right after the Elders wrapped up, it was time for the Lin family's own conference. All 34 members of the Lin family showed up, even Mingxing flew back from the capital. Bihai got things rolling, and the Lin family conference officially kicked off. First up, they decided to switch to a new calendar system, calling it the new calendar, and since the master was 37, this year was year 37. No one had any objections, so they moved on to the watch factory, which was ready to start selling after the new year. And they needed to push this new timekeeping method. Mingming was called in, and she brought back a bunch of people carrying trays stacked with watches. These were the Dragon City watches they made, and everyone was told to grab one. Go ahead and take a few more if you like, they said, since they were made by our own family. After 100 tiny details were locked in, you felt like you were actually getting closer to building your dream, civilized city. But then, you started noticing a bunch of foreign merchants flooding in with mad amounts of goods. On the surface, it looked like trade, but really, other countries were just offloading their industrial junk and basically stealing their wealth. And then, the big one, opium. Just seeing that stuff sent a serious chill down your spine. So boom. You dropped a decree anyone caught messing with opium would be kicked out of the Lin family, no questions asked. Plus, you straight up banned growing opium poppies in any area under Dragon City's control. Furthermore, in all areas controlled by Dragon City, the cultivation of opium poppies was forbidden. So, any crops they found, straight up destroyed. And the farmers, yeah, they were gonna pay, plus all the opium dens, gone. No more smoking the stuff, period. And if you got caught, man, they weren't playing games, severe punishment, no mercy. Now, meanwhile, over in Goose City, there's this massive cargo ship from overseas, just pulling up to the dock. But before it even fully stopped, a whole mob of people, cash in hand, just swarmed the thing, trying to snag some opium. And on the deck, this old dude, James, just chilling, staring at the land, probably thinking, give it a few decades. And once these folks are all hooked and weak from this stuff, that's when we roll in and take over. Then, he kinda snaps his head around, sees something being built in the distance. It was too far to really make out faces or anything, but the thing was huge, so he could definitely see some construction happening. So he tells his guys, go check that out. Find out what they were up to, and one of them's like, Mr. James. That's Dragon City building a whole new place. I did some digging. Apparently this Dragon City is way inland, super far from here. Word is, they don't have a massive population, but they're seriously powerful and rich. Like they've even taken down the Imperial Army. No idea why they'd build here though. They could just come to Goose City. James just nodded, not really buying all the seems like, and I heard stuff. In his mind, this place was just massive. Even split into 3 parts, each one was bigger than his whole country. He figured they weren't here to conquer anyone, they were just after the cash. Pure profit. Gold, silver, jewels, anything they could haul back would make them heroes at home. How they got it, didn't matter. When a boat full of cheap opium could bring back insane riches, why even bother with war? This country was too big, too many people. Taking it would be easy, but making them actually work for you, that was the real challenge. Meanwhile, Dragon City's elders were taking the construction of this new Goose City super seriously, seeing it as their gateway for dealing with the outside world. So, this construction plan, yeah, it was a huge deal, second only to building Dragon City itself, military-wise. So they sent the oldest Mingqing over and bam, district-level city status. This dude Mingqing became the big boss, the district chief, and they slapped the name Xinguang District, New Goose City on the whole place. Meanwhile, Bihai was just squeezing you dry for cash, no joke. Right after the new year, she completely wiped out your little personal savings. Then 10 massive trucks, packed with the first and most important crew, rolled in from Dragon City. On board was Mingqing, the district chief, and 200 other people. Half of them were management types, the other half were top-tier construction pros. These management folks were gonna round up workers, and with all these experts leading the charge, they'd be building houses, digging for coal and iron, making cement, setting up power plants, and getting electricity hooked up. They even needed to install elevators, can you believe that? Later on, supplies would come by water, which was slower but way bigger in scale. Mingqing and his crew started throwing money around like it was going out of style. Just then, some staffer walks in with this fat dude rocking landlord vibes. District Chief, someone's here for you. It's me, Jin Dahai, reporting for duty, District Chief. Mr. Jin, what can I do for you, sir? My family's got a bit of dough, and I heard Dragon City was building a new city here, so I figured I'd lend a hand. Why would you help Dragon City out? What are you hoping to get out of this? I'm serious, sir. I don't want anything in return. Maybe just that my young daughter will be safe and sound in Dragon City, and won't get picked on. Your daughter. Wait, you by any chance Jin Shanshan's dad? You know my daughter, of course I do. Jin Shanshan's a sweet kid. She's super close with my younger sister, Myoan, even got invited to our place. My daughter can be a bit wild, I know, and sometimes it looks she's got no manners. If she messes up, I hope you folks won't hold it against her. So miss her. Jin's like, yo, Chief Mingqing, you re too kind, please, have a seat, and then he drops that his family's been in Goose City forever, doing business. He's throwing out an offer. Hey, if you need cash, just ask, we got resources. But Mingqing's like, nah fam, we got money, what we need is bodies. And Mr. Jin's like, oh right, my bad, Dragon City is loaded of course. So you need manpower, how about 3,000 workers in 2 weeks? And if that's not enough, another 2,000 a month later. Mingqing's eyes light up, and he finally gets it. He realizes why this dude dropped a fortune to bring all the top-tier ladies to Dragon City. It wasn't just for finding wives, though that was a big part, but also for situations exactly like this. Meanwhile, hundreds of miles away, our guy shows up at the Dragon City General Staff Department. In front of him is this massive globe, like a meter across. It's their own homegrown map. He asks, yo, is this thing accurate? And his subordinate's like, master, about 80, 90. Apparently, the big continents are right, but the size might be off, and some controlled areas are a total guess. Most of the globe is just blank, ocean, or who knows what. He spins it around. And he notices it's not quite the Earth he remembers. Still, he points to a spot and names it. This is Asia, this part West Continent, and this big one, Black Continent. He's listing off the major players, Sunset Country, F Country, the Empire, and Grey Bear Country, all chilling on the West Continent. These guys are constantly beefing, which, pushes their tech and stuff. But the royal families over there are all related, so they're not actually trying to wipe each other out. They always leave a little room to breathe, then get their butts kicked later. Now they're mostly colonizing the Black Continent or Asia. He figures once all the colonies are claimed, they'll probably start fighting each other again. The river country's an island, way bigger this time, and if it's still got that same attitude, its ambitions are going to be even crazier. He stresses the need for foreign relations, keeping tabs on oil news, and that their current 16,000 troops are way too few. So he's breaking up the 4 regiments and making 12 new ones, which means 4 divisions. Time to scale up. So our boy's like, alright, build a bunch of unpowered warships first. 'Cause they still ain't found any oil, so steam engines it is for now. But he's smart, gotta leave space for those internal combustion engines later. That's the plan, the rest is just details. And get this, he's totally screwed when it comes to unlocking advanced military gear. The system's all about building in daily life, not exactly tanks and missiles. So to get strong, he's gotta do it himself, which is way harder than it sounds. Other countries take military tech and make it civilian. He's gotta do the opposite. That's rough. You can't take low-quality civilian stuff, slap some military bits on it, and expect it to be top tier. Plus, he's not some military genius, so he doesn't really know how all this tech is supposed to evolve. He can only give the big picture, not the nitty-gritty, which really slows down Radin on some stuff. But even this slow pace, it's terrifyingly fast for everyone else. So after sorting out the military, he turns to Beihai. Yo, what's the population looking like? Beihai's like, master, we've got 180,000 in Dragon City, with 50,000 just in Longbei district. Urban planning-wise, Longbei is packed. The other 4 districts, barely 30,000 total. Okay, so recruit a ton of officials in Longbei and spread them out to those other 4 districts. Even if they don't have much to do, we can afford to keep them on the payroll for now. Then start moving people from Sijiang territory, like full-on village-by-village migration. I want Dragon City's population to jump from 80,000 to 150,000 this year. He's feeling the pressure, after seeing how the world changed. Can't chill anymore. Singguang District is our gateway, gotta speed that up. Aim for 50,000 people there this year. Kayaksu Village, Xinho Town, all those little places get in moving people. Let's set some solid goals. This year 150k Dragon City, 50k in Goose City, and 50k in White Tiger City. Even the ones on probation count. Altogether, that's gotta hit 500,000. And for the rest of the regions, just distribute the remaining quota based on what they can handle. For the places that hit their targets. So, public officials, they're getting a fat year-end bonus, like at least 3 months' salary. Now, Dragon City, it's got more cash than it knows what to do with, right? But these system subsidies, still way too low. That ain't even enough for half a truck, man. Plus, with all the cars and generators guzzling fuel, it's a money pit. And don't forget books for culture, textbooks for schools. Daily expenses you, re-bleeding over 1 million a day, leaving you with chump change. Bro, supporting Behi used to take 10 trucks. That's 50 million? Add fuel, and your whole New Year's stash. Gone. Who'd believe Master Lin is now broke? And then, bam. A huge crack splits the Great Wall, standing for ages. The red hairs. These foreign devils breached the pass. 20,000 red hairs, decked out in blue uniforms. Rifles in hand. Just poured through like a pack of starving wolves, invading the Central Plains. The whole capital. Total chaos. People were ditching town left and right. The capital, which used to be 1 million people strong, had only just bounced back to maybe 300,000 or 400. Zhaolunzer. News hits that the red hairs are in the capital and half the folks just vanished. 2 weeks later, the 20,000 red hair army rolls up to the capital gates. They see those massive walls, but they ain't backing down. They got explosives now, so why fear a wall, right? These fearless red hairs rush the base from every angle. But the soldiers on the wall, they got some fancy steel guns from the wolf troops. And they absolutely shut them down. Out of those 20,000 foreign invaders, about 5,000 went bye-bye. Only a handful escaped. Most got rounded up and shipped to White Tiger City. These pals get a 1-year probation. The war report, it's heading to Dragon City, and Goose City too. This whole battle, it shocked the world. The red hairs were players in carving up the globe, and now a new one's on the board. Meanwhile, a massive convoy of carriages rolls into Dragon City, stopping at this huge courtyard. The lead carriage halts. The Empress Dowager steps out, holding the little emperor's hand, who's clutching back, clearly nervous. Greetings, Empress Dowager. I'm Lin Mingming. My second brother sent me to look after you. Hearing the Lin surname, Sarai Lang knew this kid was family, and even though he was young, she wasn't gonna disrespect him. Thanks for the trouble, Mr. Lin. No trouble at all. If you don't know what to call me, just call me Mingming, everyone does. No need for fancy titles. He then eyed the little kid hiding behind Sarai Lang. This kid seems super timid, like he'd seen some stuff, so. My guy steps up and pats his head. You re Mengu Urtai, right? Yeah, I'm Menga Urtai. And you re 8, huh? You seem a little shy. Just call me Brother Mingming. If anyone tries to bully you, you tell me and I all sort am out. Empress Dowager Sarai Lang's eyes lit up. This kid Mingming seemed so genuine, like he didn't have a hidden agenda. If they could get on his good side, things might actually get easier. This was a good move. Menga Urtai, go on, call him Brother Mingming. Brother Mingming. Young Master Mingming, Mengertai is really timid. He didn't have many friends before, so he's always lonely. If you were free, could you take him out to play? I can hang out with him when I'm not busy. Sarai Lang actually smiled, like for real. She was about to say something else, when she suddenly turned away and gagged. Your Highness, what's wrong? I'm fine. Must be the travel exhaustion from the last few days. And this climate is totally different from the north, so I'm just not used to it. I'll be good after some rest. Don't worry. Then please go inside and rest. Even though it was just one little gag, everyone noticed. And guess what? The news hit your ears like a lightning bolt. You were pacing around your living room, hyped. Then, Miaoyan and Mingming burst in. Miaoyan screamed from across the room. It's confirmed. It's confirmed. Master is pregnant? Yes, Master is pregnant. Just then, a servant cleaning the window stopped dead in his tracks. Master's pregnant. Oh wait, I messed up. Master's a dude, he can't be pregnant. It must mean Master got someone else pregnant. This is huge. Who's the lucky lady? Man, I want to spill this tea! Too bad I can't gossip while working. Gotta hold it in! Professional training, you know. Absolutely no leaks from the Lin estate to the outside. Unless I can't help it. Not long after, word got out that someone in your estate was pregnant, and it spread like wildfire. So many people were stoked, they just kept spreading the news. Suddenly, every single firecracker in Dragon City was gone. Okay, so we get the news that Sarai Lang is pregnant, and our boy is absolutely stoked. He's pacing around like a caged animal for a bit, then finally snaps out of his own head. But then, a frown. Sarai Lang's pregnant with Mingxing's kid. And yeah, that's gonna be a problem. Mingxing ain't even married yet, man. What's his future wife gonna think when she pops out a baby? And it's not just any situation, she's a widow with a whole special status. Wait, no, her husband's still kicking! Oh, that makes it way messier. If Sarai Lang actually has this baby, the whole grassland's gonna flip out, right? So he tells someone, go write Mingxing, see what he thinks. If he's cool with it, I will handle everything. If he wants to ditch the kid, then forget it. Someone else chimes in, Master, you know he wants this baby. One word from you, and Brother Mingxing will be fine with it. He shuts that down. Like, don't be saying that. Everyone's got their own thoughts, and I respect that. Plus a kid, without a dad's love, is gonna have a rough life, you feel me? Got it, Master. I will go write that letter. And boom, 2 cars blast out of Dragon City, speeding towards the capital. These drivers were switching out non-stop, making that whole trip there and back in under 10 days. Mingxing rolls back with them, heads straight to the Lin estate, and tells our guy, Master, I'm whatever you want. Keep it, don't keep it. It's your call. Seriously. So, do you even like kids? Mingxing's like, hard to say, never really thought about it. But I don't hate M. It's just this kid's whole deal with their identity. Identity ain't the issue. You don't hate M. That's good enough. Let me tell you, I love kids. Mingxing's just like, okay. Alright then, since Master likes him, we re-keeping it. And not long after, Mingxing's marriage plans get locked down too. The bride, Prince Fu's daughter, Princess Luo Li Kexia. Our guy meets her, sets her up as Mingxing's secretary in Xinguang district. Fast forward a month, sparks are flying and wedding bells are ringing. Then comes the big day. Dragon City is draped in red for miles. The whole city's got smiles on its face. For the Lin family's eldest son's wedding, our guy rounded up every chef in the city. They threw a massive, 3-day open banquet. Seriously, anyone could show up and celebrate. Alright, so a month rolls by, and boom, the eldest granddaughter of the Lin family's 3rd generation pops into existence. And guess who got to name her? You, my guy, you personally christened her Lin Wenjing. Even Mingxing, bless his heart, gave Sa Rilang a proper status to tie up loose ends, but it was just a chill, private little ceremony at home. Nothing fancy. After the wedding bells, Mingxing had to jet back to the capital. He had some serious beef to sort out, between the northern barbarians and the Hen people. Plus, those red hair devils, the Tsarist Russians, lurking way up north. So picture this, you recatching some Z's, holding baby Wenjing, when bam. Mingjing and Mingqiao burst in, looking all frantic. Master, we think we struck gold. Well, actually, it's just a bit of a trick. And you were like, who cares? This oil stuff, it's gonna be huge for ages. We need to snag every last drop we can. So set sail, and go get it for me! You slammed your pen down on the map, drawing a big ol' circle. Yes, master. And get this, in just 11 months, the whole Dragon City fleet was ready and sailing. We were talking 30 warships, 10 transports, and a crew of 40,000 ready to roll. They piled onto these massive ships and slowly pulled away from the dock. All that was left was to wait. But while that was happening, Dragon City was just blowing up with progress. Then one day, Old Six comes sprinting in, hyped, Master! You asked for it. And we did it. The telegraph machine is working. Eldest brother just sent a telegram from Xinguang district. Check it out! Lemsi. The message from Mingqing. Super short, just a few dozen words. Basically said everything's cool, no need to sweat it. Now messaging is gonna be a breeze. We can hit everyone up multiple times a day. Too bad Mingjing and the crew are so far out. Since it works, crank out those telegraph machines. Stat. Get telegraph operators trained. We gotta be able to telegram Mingxing in the northern capital ASAP. You got it, master. I already set that in motion the second I got eldest brother's telegram. Oh, and 2 other things are dropping soon. Bicycles and electric load speakers. The paper mill's almost ready too. Soon we'll be able to slash costs even more. Then those newspapers you wanted can finally roll out. That's awesome! All great news. You were crushing it, Old Six. Keep bringing me these updates, man. You basically my personal news guy. Seriously, Old Six was like a walking good omen. But as these stories go, some familiar drama started brewing. Remember how you were pushing to learn from history, like the late Qing dynasty? You started hammering home the dangers of opium in the papers early on. The Dragon City Council of Elders was hardcore about banning opium sales and use. But then, just a few days later, the Xin District Council gets a VIP guest, this dude James, a merchant from Country F. Mr. James, welcome. What brings you our way? The translator whispers a few things to James, then his whole vibe shifts from fawning to totally arrogant as he addresses Mingqing. Minner. District Mayor. We're here for friendship and civilization. Your esteemed council snagged a few merchants. Mind telling us what crime they committed? Look, we don't police what happens in Goose City, but opium is banned here. Those guys knew that perfectly well, yet they still pushed the stuff. They broke our laws. So this dude, James, rolls in, dropping opium like it's some kind of gift and civilization, right? And our guy's like, nah, this is our territory. He's basically saying, are we gonna ask you for permission for what we ban? And calling out James for not accepting their goodwill. James is like, fine, forget it. But those merchants, they were my friends, I'm taking them. And our guy's response. Sorry, they broke our laws, friends or not, they gotta face the music. So now James is all, Yuri refusing to give Mr. James face. And the reply is just stone cold, the law is the law. And with that, James is told to leave, looking absolutely furious. The G's are stormed out. The translators muttering trash talk on the side. But Mingqing ain't even sweating it. Then, like half a day later, explosions go off followed by screams. Someone bursts in, totally freaking out. They grab Mingqing. Mayo! Someone's bombing us. It's gotta be that James dude from this morning. And Mingqing's losing it. How dare these damn foreign devils. They don't know this is a declaration of war. Since that's the case, we fight. Tell Mingwu to send our warships out, drag that foreign devil back here. I want him begging for forgiveness. James, meanwhile, just ordered a few volleys. They were a bit far out, so the aim was kinda shaky. But his whole goal was just to blow off steam. Once the firing stopped, James was ready to peace out, chilling with some wine. Then bam, an attendant rushes in, totally panicked. Mr. James! Bad news. There are a ton of warships heading our way. And they're coming straight for us. James asks, who is it? He's wondering, is it those Sunfall people? Or the H-Country guys? Or someone else entirely? The attendant's like, we don't know! We don't recognize the flag. It's some kind of beast head we've never seen! Send someone to find out who they are, and what they want. Seeing that both sides had a similar number of ships. James was feeling pretty confident at first. He figured even if he couldn't win, he could at least get away. But 2 hours later, his face is contorted, dripping sweat. Sir, one of our ships is about to go down. 2 more are barely holding on. Yeah, so this whole coast is technically Southeast Court, Dragon City's Xinguang district, but ultimately, it's Dragon City's turf. Why is this happening? Then, like 2 hours later, James's whole fleet just straight up surrendered. Man, white flags everywhere. This dude James, even though he's defeated, tries to play the noble card, saying he's from the Western Zhou Kingdom. But bam, a soldier just smacks him down with his rifle butt. Apparently this guy ordered the shelling of Xinguang district. Talk about a bad look. The soldier's like, this geezer's got a death wish, thinks he's lived too long, so they drag James before Mingqing, and his legs just buckle. But get this, his entire crew, the slaves, even the translator who legit peed himself from fear, all 8,000 of them, they get hit with war crimes. 10 years of hard labor. Oof. And the kicker. Dragon City snags all those warships and cargo ships, which were worth a fortune. So these 8,000 people, they reshipped to Dragon City on their own damn boats. Straight into Dragon City prison. Mingqing, though, he kinda considers James's status. He doesn't just execute him. Cause killing a nobleman has big repercussions, so he decides to wait and see what James says. Probably hoping for a fat ransom. His family's gonna have to cough up some serious gold. And speaking of gold, the harvest season rolls around in the 38th year of the new calendar. This year, Dragon City skips the whole big group harvest thing. Most folks have regular jobs now, so they ain't gotta deal with that. Harvests wrap up down south. The weather gets chilly, and up north, it's already a winter wonderland. New Year's is right around the corner, people. And those grizzly bear folks up north, still trying to take over the grasslands. No chill. This whole mess slows down the grizzly bears and weakens the northern court. Mingqing sees his chance, boosts up the north, grows White Tiger City, and makes Taoyuan Street in the capital even more poppin'. And get this, White Tiger City already hit its 50,000 population target, and Taoyuan Street is pushing 50,000 too. Boom. The year-end meeting for the Council of Elders is on. Remember at the start of the year, the goal was 150,000 for Dragon City, and over 500,000 for the whole region. Yeah, pretty much everywhere crushed it. So, time for the rewards, a 3-month year-end bonus for everyone. Nice. And for those who really went off, even more. This year, everyone's set for a seriously good new year. They can actually afford to eat meat every single day during the holidays. You even dropped the next year's goal, with better farming tech and cheaper food. Everyone in Dragon City should have meat on their plates daily. This headline, grabbing statement, makes everyone in Dragon City feel like life's just getting better and better. And after the new year, the good news just keeps rolling in. The Lin family members are all getting hitched, one by one. Seriously, everyone of age is settling down. And then, the best news ever hit, Master, the fleet's back, and guess what? It's packed with oil. So back in the 38th year of the new calendar, our boy the Lin brothers, with like 40,000 people, bounced from Dragon City. After months on the ocean, they finally landed. The spot, a total wasteland, which is why the big guys ignored it. Little did they know, that desolation was hiding treasure oil, buried deep. Finding the oil was no sweat, man. In some spots, a few swings of the pickaxe and bam, it was gushing out. So, Mingqing and the crew immediately started building. They straight up called it Vermilion Bird City and sent word home ASAP. And when a ship rolled up loaded with oil barrels, the docks went absolutely bonkers. This was that legendary liquid gold. This stuff could power cars, make electricity, even clothes. The brand new petroleum students at the university were all over it. Picture this, a bunch of nerds buzzing around an oil barrel, dreaming up all the crazy inventions they'd heard about. With that oil field locked down, the old Dragon City automobile factory finally fired up, and that super improved textile machine. It was officially done. Mass production kicked off, aiming for like 800 to 1,000 units a year. Each one was a cool 100,000 yuan. Yeah, pricey, but they sold out the second they hit the market. Cars were still super rare back then, no joke. But once the industry got going, prices would drop. Honestly, the car sales themselves were going to be pocket change. 'Cause you buy a car, you gotta drive it, right? That fuel cost, that's the real steady cash flow. And with all this money, they were spending like crazy. In Dragon City's Longzhong district, one small area started booming. They were laying foundations for massive buildings, huge spaces, and elevators were going in, smooth and safe. Plus, some mega projects were underway like these 9 buildings all going up at once. The shortest was over 20 floors, the tallest aiming for 28. If they finished, it'd be the biggest building on Earth. This was going to be the absolute heart of the city for decades. In this one spot, tens of thousands of people would be swarming daily, like cramming a whole modern county into one block. Stuff people back then couldn't even fathom. And on top of all that, you called meetings to get trains manufactured. And they laid down railway tracks, which was a huge upgrade for getting around fast. So, fast forward to the 47th year of the new calendar. Things were changing, but kinda slow, like everyone was still the same? Yeah. But Dragon City's downtown, man, it was unrecognizable. Now it's got 13 districts, 600,000 people, and Longzhong district is the absolute center, 120k people living amongst the skyscrapers. Picture this 9 buildings, over 20 stories high, just piercing the sky. Anyone rolling up for the first time. They're absolutely stunned, just staring up, can't tear their eyes away. And the tallest one, that's where the real big shots are, Toyuan Bank. It's their AQ now. Seriously, who wouldn't be like, whoa, that's awesome seeing the tallest building in the world, occupied by them. The Dragon City Council of Elders. Yeah, they were not called that anymore. It's like the Municipal Council of Elders is now a summer gig, and the Dragon City Council of Elders is basically provincial level, not just some B-high thing. And get this, there's a premier now. This dude's pulling in a level 13 salary, which is wild. That salary is 10 times a standard level 1 salary. The vice premier is level 12, making 7 times that. The mayor's level 11. But the mayor of Dragon City, Yishi. He's a level 12 high, ranking mayor, and the Council of Elders now has a few cities under its wing. First up, Guangxing District, which got a ton of support, basically becoming Guangxing City. The place has 300,000 people, and District Chief Lin Mingqing. Yeah, he's a high-ranking mayor too. Then you got Tiger City population 200,000 Mayor Lin Mingxing, and the overseas Vermilion Bird City 150,000 strong. Everything else is just districts now, like the capital and 2 other courts, all grown from tiny Taiyuan Street into district-level areas. So, altogether, the Dragon City Council of Elders is looking after about 8 million people. You used to make a killing buying trucks, but now it's just passive income rolling in 18 million a day. Your personal savings are going through the roof. But even that's not enough. I heard some of the major courts are looking to colonize overseas, which is a massive change from how things were supposed to go. You figure your presence must have unlocked their potential. These 4 courts, they restacked with people. The smallest one, Southwest Court, probably has at least 30 million, and the bigger ones are like 50 or 60 million. The whole Central Plains area, maybe 150 to 200 million people total. So even split 4 ways, each chunk is basically a first-rate power. Your mind is racing with the possibilities. So Beihai slides you a fresh cup of tea, right? And she's like, Master, this whole territory fight thing, it's actually good for us. Let them go at it. If they win, cool. If they lose, whatever. Honestly, it's all gonna be ours in the end anyway. This woman is ice cold, no joke. Turns out, the top brass actually thought this whole court squabbling was a solid play for you. So Beihai calls up Lai Xuanji, Win Jingren, and Lin Zhengkui, drops the order, hey, this little Southwest court, go grab some land.
We got your back.
Suddenly, this massive world domination thing just turned into a whole proxy war. But honestly, Yuri kinda here for it. Dragon City's always been short on people, what can they even do overseas alone? To fix that population issue, you whip up a 5-way summit right there in Dragon City. You invite the Northern, Central Southern, and Southwest courts. And boom, all the big shots show up. All 4 emperors rocking their yellow robes, looking at each other with this weird vibe. The main takeaway from this meeting. From now on, domestic beef gets settled with talks. If talks fail, then you can scrap. But fighting without even trying to talk, that's gonna get you sanctioned. Overseas, though, everyone's gotta fend for themselves. It's still a good idea to look out for each other out there, you know? Since you all hand people, same roots and all. To top it off, for everyone's peace of mind, Dragon City's gonna hook everyone up with supplies at cost. So the deal is, everyone agrees to send their troops out after the autumn harvest. That way everyone's got more resources. Gives them time to beef up their defenses and armies too. This whole five-party conference thing. It basically means everyone in the Central Plains is loosely united, ready to carve up the world. So the Central Plains, with almost 200 million people, is basically baring its teeth at the world. What kind of chaos is that gonna unleash? End of the year, fleets from the 4 major courts start sailing out. The first wave. All their ocean-going ships like 500 Zalons and troops with a clear mission. They're skipping mainland colonization for now, focusing on nabbing subcontinents and big islands. Sure, these spots might not produce as much stuff as a mainland, but strategically, they re-gold. As for Dragon City itself, if you've got the bandwidth, you're gonna push into the deserts of Southwest Asia. Because for the next 100 years, that place is gonna be the hottest real estate on the planet. And you gotta lock down all those cities, develop them fast. Plus, with mercenaries hopping on board, your population explodes to 1 million. The system drops another message: congrats, main city hit 1 million population. Systems upgraded to city level. Next upgrade needs 100 million. Current total population 8 million. Basic requirements met. Population strategy is now elite. New population is capped monthly. So, Dragon City's really starting to influence the world, huh? They're re-adding 100,000 new people this month. And to handle all that, they're re-getting a super server. Nice. But, if you mess with the system, like do illegal stuff, yeah, you're getting punished straight up. And then they unlock new products, right? You're hyped, thinking it's gonna be awesome, but then you see the update. You almost slapped yourself. This system totally tricked you. You rethinking, man, why did I rush to upgrade this thing? Should we just brought in more people first? Now you all restricted, but then you check out the new products page, and you totally take it back. They actually added a bunch of electrical appliances, like legit home goods. The comfy life you've been waiting for a decade. It's finally here! Fast forward a bit, and Dragon City University starts this new computer department. You're personally teaching these high school grads. Seriously, computers and the internet, that's gotta be up there with the biggest world changers. You pretty much emptied out your life savings for this. All the servers, the cables, all the stuff you need to build the foundation. Snagged it. Plus, you grab 200,000 computers at once. You hand it all off to Beihai to sort out, and boom. Dragon City enters the internet age overnight. In the 46th year of the new calendar, Ruyan has a daughter, and 6 months later, Beihai has a son. Re46b has 6 runes 24. Oh, and get this, 21-year-old Miaoyan finally ties the knot, basically forcing the 18-year-old Mingming to marry her. The Council of Elders also dropped some new policies that year. First off, the daily wage jumps from 8 to 10 yuan. The big plan. Start collecting taxes next year to try and even out the rich and poor. Now the council and their businesses are fine, but some other industries are seeing some wild incomes. That's apparently not great for social stability or making people happy. With everything online and banks rolling out cards, they're reshifting all payments to transfers and deductions. Everyone's got to pay taxes, a little for the average Joe, a lot for the high rollers. Or, ditch your Dragon City citizenship. Blink and 8 years are gone. The Sunset Kingdom and My Kingdom war. It's over. My Kingdom is independent. The Sunset Kingdom lost its key dependency. And the Rice Country got its independence. The Sunset Kingdom not only lost its most important colony, but those 8 years of fighting really weakened them. They were still technically number 1, but other countries don't see them as that much of a threat anymore. And get this, over those 8 years, thanks to Dragon City's example. So all these countries were popping off, right? Making insane progress with electricity, cars, trains, even guns. But then, with the world basically carved up, all the little beef started boiling over. And bam! 6 months later, the Empire just straight up attacked a country. And then get this, the Grey Bear country, chilling near the West Continent, the Sunset country, and all the other big shots over there got dragged into the mess too. Like in just 1 year, boom, a war that took over the whole West Continent and half the globe kicks off. The West Continent was just drowning in this brutal war, with like 700 to 800 million people caught in the crossfire. Every single country was throwing everything they had into the fight. Meanwhile, Dragon City was playing chess, trying to get their banks set up in all these countries. Their pitch, they give them all the resources they needed for dirt cheap. But nope, everyone shut them down. Mostly because they were paranoid about foreign money messing with them. Plus, nobody thought they would be the ones losing and needing help. So Dragon City was like, alright, bet, and started dropping serious cash to buy up resources instead. Ships were just going back and forth, trading different goods for piles of gold. And on top of that, they started creeping into the colonies, snagging little plots of land. From local bigwigs, building their own towns, and opening their own banks. The countries eventually noticed. But they were too busy with their massive war to sweat Dragon City's little side hustles. While the world was going nuts, the Central Plains were just vibing, peaceful, and booming. Singwang City, the main gateway, was getting more and more lit every single day, with skyscrapers shooting up like crazy. The population hit over 800,000, streets packed, you'd even see a car now and then, or a horse cart hauling water. The port of Singwang City was lit with warships pulling up. Once all the country reps rolled in, Dragon City folks welcomed them and put them up in hotels. Dragon City had invited everyone for a few big reasons. First, to create a United Nations, to get everyone on the same page, and build this awesome global family. Second, to talk oil. Third, to host the World Sports Games. When the conference kicked off, reps from 38 major and minor countries and factions were packed into the hall, including Dragon City and the 4 main dynasties of the Central Plains. Second, to discuss oil. Third, to hold the World Sports Games. On the day the conference opened, representatives from 38 influential or moderately influential countries and forces filled the conference hall, including Dragon City and the 4 great dynasties of the Central Plains. Alright, so we got 37 countries, but only Dragon City was like its own thing, a city-state. The mayor of Singwang City, this dude Lin Mingqing, he was hosting the whole shebang, and the first order of business. Debating if they even needed a United Nations. Cause, let's be real, nobody wanted to be the loser nation, right? So for the sake of, everyone on Earth, the UN was supposed to swoop in and save civilians from all the war and disaster. For fairness, regular countries got 1 vote, but the big players, like the 4 dynasties, got a couple more. The Empire snagged 4, and Sunset Country and Dragon City, they got 5 votes each. Since everyone's cool with this, the mayor said, let's roll with this voting system. Any member can drop a proposal, and then everyone votes. Dragon City, Sunset Country, and the Empire get to veto stuff for now. And the UNHU, it's gonna chill in Dragon City for safety. Every country needs an ambassador there, and Dragon City's gonna build embassies for everyone, big enough for hundreds of people. And hook them up with cars and everything. Fast forward half a month, and boom, all the UN stuff was sorted. This totally boosted Dragon City's street cred. After a quick 3-day break, the conference fired back up, this time talking about energy. Basically, Dragon City flexed with a crazy oil extraction upgrade, meaning they could supply everyone with cheap oil, no sweat. After energy, they moved on to the World Sports Games. Dragon City wanted to sponsor and host both that and the World Cup. The plan was every 3 years, starting next year. Athletes from anywhere could sign up, all expenses paid. Plus, winners got a special prize from Dragon City. The ambassadors were kinda bored. But then they heard about crowning the world's #1 country. And suddenly, everyone was hyped, like they'd chugged an energy drink. Dragon City's whole reason for this: pure clout. More fame means more influence, which means more people and more opportunities, speeding up the whole world's development. So yeah, the first World Sports Games and World Cup kicked off in Dragon City and Singwang City. The Empire's crew took home the World Cup trophy. For the sports games, there were 108 gold medals handed out. Sunset Country, with all its colonies, totally dominated the gold medal count. But the people of Dragon City, they didn't really care who won. The fact that it was in their city was the main thing. That's how you know you've got status. Honestly, Dragon City's population was still pretty small, just over 5 million, so they didn't snag many medals. Even their next door neighbors took home more golds. After all that, countries started chilling and developing together. Dragon City, with its high-tech game, the Sunset Country, relying on its numerous colonies, topped the gold medal table. The people of Dragon City didn't care who was first or second. As long as it was held in their city, that was what mattered. This was what you call status. In reality, because Dragon City's population was still small, only just over 5 million, it was too small compared to any other country, so it didn't win many medals. Even the 4 neighboring countries won more gold medals than Dragon City. Next, all countries began to develop peacefully and amicably. Dragon City, relying on its high level of technology. So this Dragon City was basically just scooping up raw materials and then selling the finished goods back, making a fat profit. And their launching dollar. Yeah, it became the global currency. Every single country had to use this launching dollar to trade with Dragon City. And over 10 years, a bunch of colonies started breaking free. Which meant way more nations popping up. We went from 38 countries at the first UN meeting to over 70. And the number was still climbing, no joke. Turns out, going independent was the hot new trend, but you rarely saw that happening with Dragon City's colonies, because Get this, they actually brought them legit civilization. They were seriously investing in building stuff and making the locals' lives way better, like genuinely happier. Unlike all these other big shots, just leeching resources and dumping their junk, who wouldn't be down with a Dragon City like that? Even folks in the middle of nowhere dreamed of getting Dragon City citizenship, and guess what? The city was actually willing to give it to them. And yeah, some ambitious guys would try to stir up trouble, but their own people would rat them out, like, immediately. The snitch would get rewarded with citizenship and a happy life, while the troublemaker, banned from citizenship forever, stuck with regret. So 0 colonies under Dragon City's thumb wanted out. Meanwhile, the West Continent's colonies, they were all about that independence life. Some even asked Dragon City to be their protector after they got free. And then more and more protectorates just bounced, leaving their old masters high and dry. These centuries-old wealthy West Continent nations saw this and were like, oh, this is not good. If everyone leaves, how are we going to keep living the dream? The global vibes got super tense again. So, the Western Alliance formed, with a bunch of those West Continent powers finally teaming up. And 5 years later, they started their outward expansion again. They were trying to snatch back their old colonies, that rice country, the 4 big guys around Dragon City, even the island country. They kicked off World War I against this Western Alliance. And the Grey Bear country over on the Asian continent got dragged in too, but only if they could snag some of those colonies if they won. Dragon City, though, they stuck to their guns. They weren't going to start the fight, but they'd totally back the other side from the shadows. These powers were still pretty formidable. They actually pushed all the way to the Central Plains, into the island country, and even onto the rice country's land. But here's the kicker. They couldn't actually wipe those regimes out unless they took down Dragon City. And they were too scared to do that. Even knowing Dragon City was helping, their plan was to just win fast. Then who would Dragon City's support go to next? This war dragged on for another 8 years, and finally, with Dragon City's constant backup. So, the Western Alliance, yeah, they got wiped out, just dissolved, and Dragon City's money, it went global, basically stealing everyone's financial power. Fast forward a few years, and the Longqing dollar was the only currency on Earth. Then they standardized everything like weights and measures, and pushed the Chinese language hard, making the whole planet this chill, happy global village. Congrats, you hit 100 million people. Here's a mystery gift, controllable nuclear fusion. Then, my guy, you finally peace out at 120. You left behind this insane legend, Master Lin. The Uncouncil of Elders, like all of them, decided to put up a statue. A giant white statue of Master Lin, right where everyone could see it. It stayed there for a whole year. Even though you were dead, your mind was still sharp. The second you closed your eyes, this voice pops up, world unified, nice job. Here's your reward, rebirth, and this weird space. New challenge incoming, looks like.